Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Think of all that time. Every wait in the winter. All that time. No one else saw. Every sprint in the summer. Every winter ice. Early mornings on the levee. Late nights in the film room. Bus rides to playoff games. Every bump in the road. Every moment of ecstasy. Every moment of doubt. Years wondering. Is it all worth it? It's all led to this. Man, I got this. It's a 60-minute drive for a 60-minute game. After all the miles we've traveled, we're almost there. After all the hours we've worked, one more can make us legends. After all that time, this is our time. Caveman on the line. HG got the stats.
No filters, no suits, just facts on blast.
He seems like no nonsense guy. Like
re-emphasize that for the Saints fans out there on TikTok. Caveman. What did you just say?
The rebuild starts right now.
Marshawn
Lattimore's gone, so the defense, like we're not getting any better.
To the left, got the edge and grind. We break it all
Get it into
down
Smith.
like
What a pass! That's it! Danielle Smith with the game winner! Oh my goodness!
And that is why you have Aaron Fry pass the ball in.
We roar from the base to the backfield floor. No filters, no fake control. We
So real here. Like you have you have the best quarterback in the league, arguably, the best wide receiver in the league, and you've got the best edge rusher in terms of total sacks in the season. And you're 4-7, and your playoff chances are hanging on by it.
HG on deck, stats loaded and primed. Reading the field.
Let's make it interesting.
We're making it interesting. Come on. Give us the freaking one.
Breaking down ball like a heat wave blade.
Oh, let's go! Oh, no. For the business. He's not for the business.
We see through the hype. Call out the feed.
So don't you go saying that you're never going to see that. You're such a hater.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
For your
You are looking live, everyone, at Till the Final Whistle. HG and Caveman in the building for another week of breakdown. Man, good opening slate of games on Sunday that we saw. But I mean, before we even get into that, we got our top 25 breakdown. Plenty of good matchups on Saturday as well. And as usual, let's get into those ones first. HG, where are we started? We going from top, or are we going from the bottoms at 25?
I'm gonna take us from the bottom again because Friday night we had our first of the top 25 get going. Memphis, good performance on the road, taking on Rice. Where is Rice at? It's like somewhere in Texas, isn't it?
I believe so. That is in Texas. Yeah.
Well, Texas is like 15 FBS teams. But yeah, just dominated the Rice Owls on the road. Good showing from the Memphis Tigers, 38-14. They get the victory there. And then we go down a little further. We have the Nebraska Cornhuskers hosting the number 23 ranked USC Trojans. And honestly, I think Nebraska might have had a shot to win this game had Dylan Raiola not gotten hurt. But the backup quarterback comes in and USC is able to outlast the Huskers 21-17. Down to the number 22 ranked team, Houston, man. I did all this hyping them up and talking about how good they were. And I'll say Connor Wayman, the quarterback, played pretty well. But
he's having a good year.
The defense just letting me down at home against a pretty bad West Virginia team. They come in there, score 45 points, shock the Cougars in a 45-35 victory. Another Big Ten matchup here. We got the Michigan Wolverines are hosting the Purdue Boilermakers. A game that was probably a little closer than Michigan would have liked, but it's a crazy season in college football, and no win's been guaranteed. So holding on and surviving what could have easily turned into an upset, just good on the Wolverines. They get a 21-16 victory. This was touted as one of our best matchups.
Could have been game of the week.
Of the weekend. But the Cincinnati Bearcats going into Utah were just wholeheartedly overmatched. Utah's defense is very scary. They just shut down a very explosive Cincinnati offense. Great game out of Dylan Dampier, and the Utes just all over Cincinnati, 45-14. All right, the ACC showdown is where our next matchup takes us. The number 16 ranked Louisville Cardinals taking on Virginia Tech Hokies. Road game for Louisville. No problem, though. They come out of this with a pretty convincing 28-16 victory. And I will say things were looking a little hay for them in the first half, but very strong showing in the second half.
Coming out of nowhere, man, with Miller Moss.
Yeah, really. Another ACC team that kind of came out of nowhere that was on the road, this time against a much tougher Cal team. Virginia staying unbeaten in conference play. They win 31-21. James Taylor with 105 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. All right, this was probably our best game we got all weekend. Oklahoma and Tennessee, the number 18 versus number 14. Road game for Oklahoma, and a very huge win for them. Mateer looked a lot better. He looked healthier. That thumb looked like it wasn't giving them any problems. They got some big plays out of the defense, including a scoop and score. And yeah, OU comes out of here 33-27. Really the no fault of Joey Aguilar's. I mean, he threw for 393 and 3 touchdowns. Just wasn't able to keep pace with Oklahoma. All right, Texas Tech got their first loss of the season last week. Another road game going to Manhattan, Kansas. And they bounced back in a big way over the K-State Wildcats, 43-20. They got their QB, Morton, back. He goes for 249 and 2 touchdowns. All right, Notre Dame, fresh off a big victory over USC. I mean, another team going down that was in some competition for the playoff in Tennessee, losing. Same with Vandy. Get a win on the road against Boston College. Not quite as dominant as you'd think, 25-10, but again, it's been a weird season. These road games, even against bad teams, haven't been no give me.
It's that carnage and chaos that we all came to see.
Point in case, or case in point, rather. This one,
Oh.
not a bad team, but another ACC matchup. Miami getting their second loss of the season. SMU shocks the Canes 26-20 in an overtime thriller. All right, then our other top matchup of the week, Texas and Vanderbilt, the Longhorns hosting the Commodores. And this is the Texas team I think we all were expecting to see this season. They got some big plays from the defense, but the offense was on one. Arch Manning, probably his best game of the season. We'll dive into that more in depth as well. But Texas coming away with a 34-31 victory. Man, it's going to be absolute chaos come these college football playoff. I don't envy that selection committee, man. There's a lot of teams.
Yeah, they got a fun group to analyze for this year's playoffs. It's going to be great.
A lot of good teams to select from. All right, we have another shocking upset here. The Yellow Jackets, Georgia Tech, handed their first loss on the season by NC State, 48-36 in a shootout here. Big game out of Haynes King, but blanking on the NC State quarterback's name. Sophomore QB who played CJ Bailey. There it is. He played a fantastic game as well.
That's
and big victory for NC State. Team that's not out of bowl contention, so that's a big win to have to get them closer to a higher quality bowl. Now, Ole Miss taking care of business at home against South Carolina. Chambliss, Lacey, all those guys getting the job done. 30-14, the Rebels cruise to a victory. We got a bit of a thriller here in the world's largest cocktail party, one of the best rivalries in college football. No matter how bad Florida is, they usually make it interesting.
They did in this one, man.
Georgia needed all 60 minutes of this one to win, but they come away with the victory. A very late touchdown, and of course, Florida's defense would play great all game and then give up a long touchdown run to lose it basically at the end. It's just kind of encapsulates this Gator season though. But
interim head coach Billy Gonzalez, doing better than Billy Napier.
Yeah. But the Bulldogs come away 24-20 with the victory in Jacksonville. Indiana is continuing the cruise. They're now 9-0. They go into Maryland and blow the doors off of them back-to-back weeks, scoring 55 or more. They go 56 last week, 55 this week, and a 55-10 victory. Mendoza is looking like a potential Heisman candidate. And Indiana is looking like national championship contenders here.
Easily. Boosting up that draft stock for himself too, man. Mendoza.
And the team that that I'm seeing them maybe be on a crash course for in the Big Ten championship is Ohio State, taking down Penn State at home 38-14. The nightmare season for the Nittany Lions continues. This is 5 straight losses.
Yeah.
And
all conference losses too.
Yeah, Ohio State up to 8-0 on the season. Let's take a look at the remaining schedules for Indiana and Ohio State here. The top 2 teams in the country, the top 2 teams in the Big Ten. Looking like it's a crash course for them. They're both playing really well.
Both killing it.
Yeah.
Got your potential Heisman with Julian Sayin. And Mendoza's right up there in the odds, honestly. Can't really count him out of it yet. Julian Sayin. Okay, here we go. For Ohio State, going to Purdue this weekend. Then they got UCLA and Rutgers at home. And then that last week of the season at Michigan for Ohio State. So pretty good chances they can end this season undefeated. Maybe lose that game to Michigan, but a lot better, way better Ohio State team this year than compared to last season.
Yeah,
They got more experience.
The Ohio State team that won the national championship last season, and this team looks like they could be even better. On the flip side, for Indiana, finally got that page to load. They have the Penn State Lions. They got to go to Beaver Creek to play them. But with the way Penn State's looking, I mean, Indiana should cruise in that one. They've just been blowing teams out. Then it's Wisconsin. That's a home game, and then they're on the road at Purdue. But again, doesn't seem like a whole lot of competition.
No, for either of them.
For either school. So looking like undefeated seasons to finish up here. And then beating in the Big Ten. Ohio State's the only one that I think might drop a game, potentially just with them having to play Michigan. That's a rivalry game. I mean, those are always sneaky. You never know what's going to happen, but
and those road games have been doing it.
Yeah.
For teams.
And it's in the big house, isn't it?
Yep, it's in the big house. So
I mean, that place will be raucous, and there's a lot of pressure riding on that game as well, because Ryan Day hasn't beat Michigan in like what? It's been like Michigan's won the past 4 or 5 times.
I think 5. I think 5 matchups Michigan's won. Ryan Day, he meets his match when he goes and plays Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of pressure on them there. So if Michigan wins out and then also beats Ohio State, that would be crazy, because then they would take over for Ohio State in the college football playoff, which could very well happen. Michigan is 3rd right now. They've got Purdue and Northwestern. Northwestern having a pretty good season, so they might be a bit of a challenge. That's a road game as well. And, and it's a true freshman quarterback back there for the Wolverines. So there's a decent chance that those two teams are playing for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
Which would be
actually a lot at stake.
Shocking, because I just don't think Oregon can. They're back down there at 4. And I don't think they'll. Again, only a 1-loss team.
They've got their last 2 games of the season, home against USC and then at Washington for Oregon. So, and then they got in Iowa this weekend. So that's honestly one I feel like they could drop.
So there'll be some questions though with all these teams that could be potentially 1-loss teams. I mean, we're looking at 2 would be nice and easy, but it could be 3, maybe 4 potentially. We'll see if Oregon. I mean, Washington's not a team I would want to play on the road, so that could get hairy for them. But yeah, I mean, if Michigan manages to win out and Oregon manages to win out as well, it's going to be interesting to see how all those tiebreakers. Indiana will obviously get in over Oregon, and then it'll be just how do you decide between Ohio State, Michigan, and
Ohio State and Oregon already played this year, right?
No, Indiana and Oregon did. So Indiana has the head-to-head over them.
Yeah, I thought both teams had the head-to-head over Oregon. Then it's like Michigan really has a chance to just play spoiler. Just got to beat Ohio State in that last week of the season. You're in the conference championship. But dang, that really does. We are looking at carnage and chaos in the Big Ten. Do these 2 top teams even make it to the conference championship? That is a question asking.
Right. I think Indiana's probably Indiana. I'm pretty confident to say that they're a lock. And Ohio State, I'm like 75% confident they'll make it. But there's just with how crazy this season's been and how weird things get in that rivalry. And just, that's how well the Michigan players seem to play in that rivalry. On the road, the added pressure of like you haven't beat this team yet. That'll be weighing on these kids, you know. It'll be interesting. So let us know who you think the Big Ten championship game is going to be between. Well, let's get into some of these upsets. I want to cover some of these, and let's start with that Georgia Tech upset. The Yellow Jackets getting their first loss on the season.
Top 10 team goes down on the road to a conference opponent. I mean, NC State definitely not a team you want to play around with too much. Jaden Scott is pretty nasty. And like you were saying, CJ Bailey, extremely efficient. 24 of 32 in this one with 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Really.
And he made some big plays with his legs.
Yeah, also 34 on the ground and a touchdown. So three total for the kid. I mean, they were just playing with the lead the whole game too.
Right. That's an explosive NC State offense that averages around 438 yards per game and scores 33 points per game. So two of the top 2 offenses there in the ACC were squaring off here. And I mean, like Haynes King, I'm really liking the Heisman argument for him though, more and more. Another like just Heisman worthy game. Didn't get the victory, did have the 1 interception, but I mean 408 passing yards, 103 rushing, so that's 511 scrimmage yards and 4 total touchdowns.
He's seriously a dual threat. Like last year, Georgia Tech's offense was like straight on the ground. So we didn't really get to see him throw the ball too much last year. We're fully opening the doors for Haynes King to,
and especially the past couple weeks, he's really been opening it up in the passing game. Yeah,
it's boosted his draft grade a lot, honestly, because you're already looking at that guy that can escape the pocket, move around in the backfield, and create with his legs. But 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, and his only interceptions on the season were in this game, I believe. No, only 1.
Yeah, I did 1 earlier in the season. But then also you look at what he's done on the ground. 754 touchdowns, yards, and 14 touchdowns, averaging, almost 6 yards a carry on the ground right there. And I mean, he's got this team. He had them undefeated up until a point, but I think he's just been one of the best dual threat player.
Can't put this loss on him, dude.
Did all he could. His defense just could not get a stop. And it was like every time they would, like, it felt like they had a shot to get back in this one. Like, you're like, we just need to stop, like, can you finally get one? And then they would just give up a bit. They'd give up like a big touchdown too. Like there was, like the one that put the Wolfpack up to 48 was, they were up 41-29. You're like, oh, okay, let's just get another stop. And then they ripped off they were just driving down the field with ease. They completed a big pass on 3rd down and then ripped off a 30-yard touchdown. Just basically killed all momentum. I'm going to look up these Heisman odds real quick and see who's the leaders.
And dropping 8 spots from this loss, man. That one really hurt them. They've got 3 games left at Boston College, home against Pitt, then that last game of the season versus Georgia. Honestly, 3 games that this kid has a chance to. You got the next 2 weeks to stat it up. Get a big win against Georgia in the last week of the season. I mean, it would kind of be a fleece to not give this kid the Heisman. I think it would be a huge fleece. We would be talking about that for years.
This is kind of insane to me. The FanDuel Sportsbooks odds as of November 2nd Like, he doesn't even look like he's in the top 10,
What the heck?
which is just crazy. I mean, it's Julian Sayin, Fernando Mendoza, Marcel Reed, Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton, Jeremiah Smith, Jeremiah Love, Diego Pavia, Trinidad Chambliss, Dante Moore, CJ Carr. I mean, like, I think he's
They are
Stockton. I like A&M, but like Reed, really?
no disrespect to
Even like Dante Moore really hasn't been anything. Like saying, man, I don't know.
I mean, I'd say Sayan's probably got to be up there just because of the team success. I mean, like 20 for 23 against Penn State, 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's a pretty dominating performance. And you got the best young wide receiver in college football on your team. I can see why he's up there. Same with Mendoza, Ty Simpson. I can see it.
Leading the 2 best teams in the country.
Fernando Mendoza.
Simpson's been great. Like Simpson's been just tearing teams up through the air.
But like, no disrespect to the Fighting Irish, I don't think CJ Carr has got to be anywhere close to the top 10 for Heisman. When you got Jeremiah Love on your team, there's no way that he should even be in the conversation for the Heisman. Jeremiah Love, I can even see more as somebody that wins it.
And it's like, besides King, like, I don't know if like you have anybody even forget like Heisman worthy, but like anybody that would even be considered for, like one of those best of a position awards.
Yeah, it's got to be, if he doesn't win that Heisman,
dude, I mean, like
easily ACC Player of the Year.
Yeah,
they got to give it to him.
How many games too is it like he's like the leading rusher for Georgia Tech, while also throwing for, like 250 plus yards, or like this game 400 yards. Yeah, shocking. Defense really failed him here against a very exciting NC State Wolfpack team. And it was just, I mean, the push up front that NC State got with Jaden Scott running the football, 196 yards, averaging 8 yards a carry. It was really exposed just some issues Georgia Tech might face as a playoff team, which they're not out of it. But man, like, I mean, again, like, I think NC State's a good offense, one of the better offenses in the country. But just the fact that, I mean, you weren't able to stop them really ever. They just went up and down the field on you all game. Couldn't stop the run. Then anytime you got them into like a 3rd and long, or a bad situation, I mean, how many times did CJ Carr being able to scramble, use his legs, and avoid a little pressure was able to just make something incredible happen?
Overall, though, pretty good game. Georgia Tech, like we were saying, they dropped to the 16th team in the country. But still a pretty good chance to get up there into that playoff. Because let's look at the rest of the ACC. Because that's probably the upset I wanted to go to next.
I was going to say, we keep it in the ACC and go to another big upset here.
Miami's got 2 conference losses, man.
Right.
Who is going to win the ACC?
And I mean, Beck's looked pretty bad in both of them. Again, 2 interceptions in this one. So that's 6 INTs from him in their losses.
When he's pressured, he does get crumbled. I think he just has to work on his composure, man. He's got the accuracy. I think he's got some pretty solid arm talent. Pretty solid in the pocket. Just gets rattled, man. He's got to keep his composure.
Yeah. It's also just him trying to make a play happen when it's not there. Like
just doing too much.
Some patience, would be good from him. Just you don't have to make it all happen at once. Sometimes the play is just blown up, and there have been some times this year where you're like, he doesn't seem to want to.
Sometimes you just got to dirt it.
Except that, just get rid of it.
You got to throw it in the dirt or get it out of bounds.
I mean, there's just like how Miami lost this game when they held SMU to 23 yards rushing. They were SMU was 3 for 13 on third down.
How do you
And
lose this game?
the Mustangs only had the ball for 22 minutes and 18 seconds. It was just
when you got a crappy defense and an NCAA rebuild.
Yeah. And you just they were moving the ball pretty well. I mean, 438 yards of total offense. They got a $159 on the ground, but the penalties when they got in the plus territory, and then those interceptions, it's just the lack of the discipline, and just and making those dumb mental mistakes when you really outplayed a team for most of this game. You kept them in it. And
all their opportunities they had to win is
Right.
where they messed it up. Sounds familiar. A team that plays on Sunday likes to do that a lot.
Mhm.
Get themselves in good positions and then just not execute.
Right. Eventually, Jennings gets it going, throws for 365, despite no run game what to speak of. They just completely give it up. And late that Miami defense, they really just didn't have any answer for Jordan Hudson too. That was a big problem. It was like this one guy was just killing you all over the field.
He was really this first touchdown from SMU. They just really picked apart this too high safety look that Miami was liking to bring. The first touchdown, beautiful hole shot from Jennings, wide open guy, and he had to layer it in between like three defenders. But Hudson was wide open right there. He's easily picking apart the defense. They did a great job game planning, though. They just couldn't get it done. They couldn't get anything going on third down.
And that was, Miami's defense really, they played a good game for the most part, but I think they just the frustration of got into the defense, and so there might be some internal issues with that team and everything as well. It looked like they just got too frustrated. They got frustrated and sort of gave this one away.
And just some tough reads. The second pick from Beck was in overtime while they're trying to score their game-winning touchdown. Gives the ball back to SMU, and they win it with just a 1-yard run. Free, walking into the end zone. And SMU fans get to storm the field after that one.
All right. So you had two field stormings from the NC State and the SMU fans. And Miami kind of feels like they're effectively out of the ACC conference race. I won't say they're out because there's some teams might have a meltdown, but you're looking at there's 6 teams in front of them.
Their best game coming up too is at Pitt the last week of the season. It might be too far gone for them at that point.
Right. And Pitt's got a pretty explosive offense.
That's the third-ranked team in the ACC right there.
Right, and they're 5-1 in conference play, 7-2 on the year. You've got Virginia and Georgia both 8-1, but 5-1, 5-0 in conference. Louisville's only got one conference loss. SMU only got one conference loss. Duke only has one conference loss. So
they can't. I don't really know if they get back into it.
There's just a lot.
It's SMU Miami rematch in the ACC championship,
right?
Because they're not passing SMU. They're not passing Louisville. That's 2 head-to-heads they lost.
Like, I can't imagine all these teams. Obviously, they're not going to stay at one conference loss. Like, SMU will probably get knocked off by Louisville. They got BC, then Louisville. But then again, it's like you need six teams to each at least lose one more conference game,
And
and
you have to win out.
some of those are some pretty solid teams. And like I was saying, like Pitt, that offense of theirs can be scary. So like I don't see it'll be hard pressed for them to lose out. Yeah, I mean, I'm really thinking like that might seal it. They're gonna need a lot of chaos.
They need that SEC to go crazy for this last remaining 3-4 games that these teams got. Because if any season's going by like a snap of a finger, it's a football season this year. 4 games left in college for some teams, about halfway through the year in the NFL. It's flying by. And some of these teams, their opportunity to get into the playoff is going to just flash faster than this whole season's gone by. And it'll be out of their grasp before they even know it. What else happened in the ACC? Virginia stays undefeated against not bad Cal team. 5-4 in California. Got to travel across the country. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's always tough going coast to coast there. But Virginia getting it done. Yeah, they're looking good. They just keep finding ways to pull off victories here. I didn't catch where they went in the new rankings. They're up there though a bit, up to 12th.
There we go.
So just in the college football playoff if it started today.
Won this one from a lot of giveaways from Cal.
Right. That was
their quarterback didn't even throw a passing touchdown and they scored 31 points. That's just crazy.
Yeah, got a defensive touchdown in there from Cam Robinson. Pick 6 there. Some nice plays in the special teams and the punt return. I mean, yeah, the 2 interceptions play the big role in that. And Cal, another team that just couldn't really get out of their own way. Super inefficient on 3rd down, and Virginia just held the ball for a long time and completely neutralized their rushing attack. I mean, only 8 total yards from Cal. Some of that does come from the sack yardage.
I hate that minuses from the team's total rushing yards and like the quarterback's rushing yards. So you could have some big plays from your quarterback on the ground, like late in a game. Well, let's say he got sacked 4 times. Then he has like 5 carries for negative 34 yards. But he made some nice plays with his legs. Like the box score does lie.
I feel like this might be a hot take. I think like sack yardage should just be counted as its own thing.
I think that would honestly
like
give credit more to the defense.
A team stat that's like sack yardage allowed versus sack yardage, gained. And like, so the defense had like total sack yardage. It's like when the player gets a sack, the defensive player's sack yardage is included in that. Like, so like you can kind of see like how impactful each sack from a defender was too. And like,
yeah.
Also, like, wouldn't that be cool for like any defender? Just like, oh, this guy's got like he's a huge game record because he's got like 16 and a half sacks this season for 200 sack yardage or something. Like we don't have that, so I wouldn't know like would be a baseline good gauge for it, but something like that.
It would add more stories
but
to
you just
the game.
Kind of see like, okay, versus like, oh, all right, well, this guy's getting to the quarterback, but it's
showing how he's keeping the offense behind the sticks with
right.
his presence in the backfield. Like that would be really, it would take less blame off these quarterbacks too.
Right.
These young guys that are looking for help from their offensive line.
And I think you could see like which guys are better at with sack yards, which guys would be better about beating, getting to the quarterback as he's hitting the top of his drop versus maybe getting them when he steps up in the pocket or when he scrambles, because like those guys with more sack yardage are probably typically getting back to the QB as he's hitting the top of his drop, just giving you more yardage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They need to add
shouldn't
something like that.
shouldn't count against the rushing stats. I think that's dumb. And would have given some good sack yardage to the Virginia defense, who had 3 on the day. 3 sacks were able to total up a negative 42 rushing yards for this QB. So they had 42 sack yardage, 42 on the sack yardage on the day. That's our hot take of the day, though. Make sack yardage a defensive stat. It's just dumb that it's like counted against passing yards or rushing yards.
Or if it's gonna count against anyone on the offense, have like show how many sacks or how many pressures allowed the offensive line is giving in the box score, things like that. Because you can't find offensive line stats hardly anywhere. Just searching it up online, like you hardly are able to even find stats for the offensive line.
Just give you an excuse to get O linemen more involved.
Yeah,
on the stat sheet too. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. All right, we're gonna shift over a little bit to the SEC here, and I want to start with that Georgia-Florida game, world's largest cocktail party. Some Gators are doing some good things early. They jumped out to a 10-7 lead at the end of the first quarter. And yeah, I think they had Stockton a bit confused there in the first half on their coverages and everything, but Georgia just ultimately made better adjustments, and they looked like a lot more confident in that second half, and they were finally able to get the rushing attack going. And then, like I said, they were driving, and they ripped off a 36-yard touchdown as time was nearing in on expiring to win the game. That was, it was like 3:18 left. And then the Georgia's defense just took over from there.
I do want to give credit to Florida's defense, because just looking at the box score right here, we're looking at how deep Georgia is and the depth for Florida on the defensive side. It's like they have half the amount of guys on their defense than Georgia does, and still only held this team to 24 points. I mean, that you got a bunch of tired guys on this team, dude. They are exhausted from this season. But the amount of turnovers that they've had, they're on the field a lot. And I think their average scoring is like around 24 points per game allowed, which that's enough to keep your offense in it and give them a chance to win.
And I mean, they did a good job of limiting the 2 big receivers on Georgia, which was Oscar Delp and Dylan Bell, but Zachariah Branch, Stockton was able to go to him with his, main 2 options covered up pretty well. And that was where he just found the guy that was getting the mismatch, working on the cornerback 3, and he was winning that a lot. Got those 10 catches for 112 yards. And that was just like a lot of things weren't going well for Georgia, but they were just finding, like late in an ugly game, they were just finding some mismatches to exploit. And that's why Kirby Smart's one of the best coaches in the game, because that's the difference between getting upset in a game like this and coming out with the victory.
I think the only question left for Florida is if DJ Lagway is hitting the transfer portal at the end of the season or not. Sophomore, he's got pretty much 2 more seasons left, but does he stay in Gainesville? That's kind of been what I've been thinking about for Florida most of the years. Like, what's going to happen with their big name guys? Are they even going to be on this team next year? Are they going to be able to?
I kind of feel
get
like
behind what the program has.
A fresh start is needed for both parties.
I agree, because you already fired your head coach,
right? And he despite a season and a half with Billy Napier, you haven't really seen any development or anything that gives you a ton of hope that he could pick up a new offensive scheme. So I think it's just like a fresh start, and DJ can maybe go somewhere to a team that is better suited to use his strengths and weaknesses, and Florida just is gonna need to start over there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's probably what we're gonna see is a like Napier was there for a number of years. They could just never really quite get it back up to that level that they had with Urban Meyer in the early 2010s and late 2000s. So
if they could keep that same level of talent on defense, man, like you really just need a couple pieces on your offense to make this team competitive in your conference. Like you're no slouch from gaining recruits. You're the Florida Gators playing in the swamp. People still want to go there. It doesn't matter what your record is. It's a huge market for college sports in general. So I mean, I think just a big overhaul could work out for them. I mean, look how it's going for Louisville. They got Miller Moss in the transfer portal after Shuck somehow got drafted, and they're looking way better. Only one conference loss.
Looking like a potential playoff team there.
Yeah. So we could see a brighter side, the light at the end of the tunnel for Florida here pretty soon. We'll see what happens, though.
Definitely.
Let us know what you think.
Fresh start, I think it's definitely warranted for both sides. All right. Okay, man, I'll keep it in the ACC here and bring it over to this was a fantastic game between Texas and Vanderbilt here. Vandy off to a sluggish start, right? Texas was up on them 24-10 at halftime, and then it was 34-10 going into the fourth quarter. And then something clicked, and Pavia and that offense really got going. They exploded for 21 points, but it just wasn't quite enough. Texas does hold on and hold them off. Pavia was really good in this one. 43 on the ground, 365 through the air, 4 total touchdowns. Eli Stowers came to life in the second half for 7 catches, 146 and 2 touchdowns. But Vandy's defense was always, for me, where I was a little unsure about this team. I think like they've got offensively, they can definitely hang in there with anybody, but if it's a bit of a slow start for the offense, which has happened for this Vanderbilt team a few times this year, where they don't start this fast.
They didn't get really any pressure on Arch.
Yeah, it's like, can the defense keep him in it? And nah, Arch was very comfortable back there.
It's kind of the difference between them and the other SEC defenses is that front.
Yeah.
If they can generate more pressure against these teams like Texas, just the teams that got all the big dogs on them, man, like Georgia, Bama, if they could generate good pressure against those teams, man, they're seriously a threat. But this does kind of show a little bit of a weakness that they can kind of give a good quarterback some time to think back there and just pick them apart.
Yeah.
Feels better for Arch Manning fans.
Like I said, this is probably his best game of the season.
Yeah.
Against a top 25 school, top 10 school like this. Throws for 328, 3 touchdowns. Was really efficient with the football, didn't turn it over, protected it. And yeah, this is where Texas is scary. If the offense plays as well as it did against Vanderbilt, that defense, if they're not on the field a bunch, I mean, they can, like, they've been really good all season. It's just they get kind of worn down throughout the game, but they can really cause some problems for you. I mean, they have some big boys up front. They got a lot of speed in the secondary. I mean, they've got a great ability to pressure the passer. They got 6 sacks in this one. Man. Ethan Burke is a premier out there on the edge. He picked up 2 sacks.
I think one was a strip sack from Colin Simmons because he got the fumble recovery from Pavia.
Yeah, they do the strip sack there. They can generate turnover. They're able to generate some turnovers, some splash plays like that. Like Texas, they're really primed for a strong November surge. Look at who they got left on this season because they do got Georgia and A&M.
Ooh. Oh man, but they do only have one conference loss.
Right.
Really not out of it. They're not out of this conversation.
I
Like
think
losing to Georgia and A&M, that sucks for their conference record, but like
that'll
Yeah,
hurt
that's-
them if they the early loss to Florida, like losing to Florida, that one really bites them. Like you can losing to Ohio State was all right, but like Florida, that was a game you should have won, and they dropped that one. But if they can beat Georgia, I think they'll take care of business against Arkansas, and then you're just looking at that's an entirely different ball game against A&M. But it's a tough stretch. They do have a bye in there. Are the Longhorns primed for a big November run? Let us know.
yeah, they've got the bye this week, and then 3 games in a row that they need to pick up if they want to be in the SEC championship conversation.
We'll look at the SEC standings here in a minute, but I do want to go down to the other SEC matchup that we had here. That was between Oklahoma and Tennessee.
Turned out to be heck of a game. 18th versus 14th ranked school in the country. Sooners bounce right back.
Yeah. I think this was just a really complete game, like on all 3 phases from Oklahoma, which, I mean, Tennessee exploded offensively, which is really hard to stop when they get going. But a defensive return, like I said, they got the strip sack. That was, what was his name? Number 32, I believe. That was
R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah, Mason Thomas. Basically his only play of the day, but that was beautifully read. I forget who forced it to, but beautifully read off the edge by I think it was Robinson. No, not him. I'm blanking on the name, but beautifully read off the edge and just on this blitz. Tennessee didn't really see it coming. Aguilar didn't see it coming. Loses it, goes right into Thomas, and then he was stiff arming a tight end down the field for a lot of the way, and he still managed to hold him off, not lose any speed, and take it the distance. That was a super impressive touchdown there. And I mean,
this
the
game
shocking
might have
part,
gone overtime if Oklahoma's defense wasn't so, just able to confuse Aguilar in this one, and they were able to generate so many turnovers.
right? He did, Aguilar did stat it, but 2 interceptions, did fumble the ball twice, had some problems protecting the football. He was able to get back on one of them, but then one of them returns to the house. And so, Oklahoma, like I said, it was a complete game, aside from maybe the penalties. Penalties did hurt them a bit in this one, 11 for 104, but they were able to overcome those. Despite Tennessee only having 3, they really overcame those.
Sooners are in a very similar situation to Texas. Bye week this week, then they go to Alabama, number 19 Missouri the week after, and then they finish things off home against LSU. But another team, 2 conference losses, right behind Texas. Really's got a chance to make a little bit of a push here too. They got less odds though. They need 5 teams to drop a couple, and they need Alabama and Texas A&M to be no longer unbeaten in this conference. Man, that win kind of got their hopes back to making it in. They're 11th in the country, so they might not need to get the conference championship to make the playoff.
Right. This does open the door for them to still make the playoff despite not winning their conference. Right. It'll be hard for them. I think Tennessee, this might have just about closed the door on
their season.
Yeah, like they'll go to a bowl game still, obviously, but
they're gonna be that bowl game team where it's gonna be like a 6 team that barely scraped to get 6 wins that comes and plays them,
right.
And that's gonna be a pretty tough matchup for them too in that bowl game. But I mean, the main story now for Tennessee is gonna be who they're playing, which kind of sucks because they had a pretty good start.
Fun offense to watch. They're very explosive, but yeah, the 3 losses, it's just going to be tough to be able to have a say in that.
And it's 2 of the top teams. They lost to Georgia, Bama, and now Oklahoma.
I just think there's going to be too many 2-loss teams to be like. I don't think there's going to be any 3-loss teams this year. I really don't. I think we're going to see a lot more 2-loss teams.
I don't know who set up this schedule though, because I feel like they knew they were going to lose to Oklahoma because their next game is against New Mexico State.
It's not like the late season like random ass FCS schools like all the SEC schools do it. Like Bama's got. So they got LSU, Oklahoma, and then before they play Auburn, they play Eastern Illinois. Like Ole Miss has the Citadel, Auburn, and Mississippi State, I believe, left on their schedule. So, yeah, the Tide's still undefeated in conference play. I think they'll beat LSU, Oklahoma. That's their biggest challenge. So Oklahoma can do themselves some favors potentially by beating Bama, but that game is going to be in Alabama. That's going to be a tough Tide team to beat. The Bulldogs, who do they got to finish the year? Bulldogs could potentially, I mean, if they're not careful, be out of this. They got Texas and Georgia Tech.
They really could, man.
They probably can beat both of those teams. The other teams, Mississippi State and Charlotte. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem for them.
Mississippi State's been given some fits this year, though.
All right.
That game against Texas was pretty wild. They just haven't been able to finish them.
Right. So Texas can do themselves some favors by beating Georgia and potentially and be able to jump up there. But Ole Miss has got a cakewalk really to end out the season. A&M, they've got Missouri and South Carolina before they play Stanford, then Texas. So a bit tougher for them there. I think they're probably a better team than Missouri. That game is a road game. They got to go to Mizzou, so that could get weird. South Carolina just isn't the team we thought they'd be. I don't know, man. Stanford might give them problems if this was basketball. And then Texas found some new life. But I think the Aggies can, at the very least, end up with only one conference loss here. Yeah, the SEC, it's another one. You're looking at it and you're like, man, who is a lot of teams still in play here.
Definitely not over.
Right.
We got more carnage and chaos that's going to ensue in the SEC for sure.
I feel good about Bama's ability and A&M's ability to stay undefeated, though. Even though they've got a couple of ranked teams left to play, I feel good about their ability to stay unbeaten.
Definitely Bama can stay unbeaten in the conference for sure.
A&M's a little more nerve-wracking because their 2 ranked opponents that they got left, Mizzou and Texas, those are both on the road. You know, and you'd be like, you kind of wish one of those could be at home. But they played pretty well on the road. They played well all season, so Time will tell with that one.
Maybe now. I think another conversation that we should have here is in the Big 12. This
Certainly.
is certainly some carnage and chaos that's going to happen over here. Only unbeaten team in the conference is BYU. Texas Tech bounced right back with a big win. And Cincinnati dropping one. They're lucky that Houston also lost because they could have realistically been jumped by Utah and Houston after just this one weekend.
So, I mean, Cincinnati, that loss is going to be killer if they can't. Because now, I mean, you've got BYU coming up, and like that is with the teams that are hot on your trail, especially Utah, if they can stay at only 2 losses, like that is almost becoming a must win if Utah doesn't drop another one. Well, let's see where Utah.
And that last game at TCU, trap game if I've ever seen it.
Utah, certainly a softer schedule to finish. They do got to go to Baylor. Baylor's got a very explosive offense, but Utah's got like a very elite defense. So, I mean, for Utah, it's going to be like, can you keep that game a defensive battle? That's where you'll have. That'll be where you'll win. If it turns into a shootout or you got to score some points, that's where I think Utah might get into some trouble because that offense has some tendencies to go cold. They've been able to light it up a few times this year, but they've also got some tendencies to really go cold. So that'll be, but if they can get past that, Kansas State, I think they should be able to handle business against them.
You know, one team I definitely would not sleep on, though, is the Sun Devils, man. Last 3 games for them, honestly, looking pretty easy. You got home against West Virginia. You know, that game might be a little tougher than we expected. After that
some
upset.
momentum.
At Colorado. I mean, like, are we really worried? Back-to-back games against 1-win conference teams. And then they got Arizona in the Territorial Cup. They're 2-3 in the conference. Arizona State got a chance to come back.
Arizona did just put up 52 on Colorado, but again, it's Colorado, so the Buffs are just atrocious.
We don't even got to talk about them this year.
And then I'm looking at Houston's schedule to finish it off. UCF, TCU, and Baylor. I mean, if their defense plays the way they played against West Virginia, Baylor is going to be a huge problem for them. TCU as well. So Houston, I think is going to probably. I was hyping them up. I think they're going to probably drop at least one more, maybe 2, and I think they're going to be out of it. I was big fan of yours, Cougars, but I'm not. I don't have any faith in your defense after what you let West Virginia do to you.
It's been the Weigman show, for them for sure.
So, you look at BYU. Can they stay undefeated? I mean, if Cincinnati's going to play the way they played against Utah, that'll certainly help. I'm trying to see who they got there for their last 2 games on the season. BYU's got an absolutely insane stretch to finish the season, though. They end the year at home against UCF, but they get there, they have to beat Texas Tech on the road. They got to beat TCU, and they got to go to Cincinnati.
Dang, man. Maybe it's TCU that sneaks in there because they have a lot of head-to-head matchups against these top teams. They're late in the schedule on a lot of these teams.
They'd have to win
they got to win them
all. That's the tough part, you know. Can they do it? I'm not so sure about that. Right. Well, the good news for BYU is that they don't have this Texas Tech game isn't exactly a must win for them. I think if they win that, they're pretty much in the driver's seat. They just got to not get upset. But if they can win that, that'll be that'll be some huge momentum, and then you can afford to drop one, as long as it's just one, even if it's to like TCU or Cincinnati or God forbid UCF. So that's all. That's the big matchup. That's the pressure point to watch all week. That'll really shake things up here. And who's on the flip side? Who's Texas Tech got? Because they're to finish it off here.
BYU this weekend, then UCF and at West Virginia. The
So
final 2 games.
For Texas Tech, if you can beat BYU,
then you're in the driver's seat of the Big 12.
You've got a good chance to just cruise to the finish, and you can take care of 2 of the worst teams in your conference. One at home, one on the road. But you've got your quarterback back and healthy. Offense looks explosive again, so take care of business. I think it's going to be BYU and Texas Tech. If BYU beats Tech, I think that'll open the door maybe for like a Utah or an A-State. Don't have a ton of I lost a lot of faith in Houston. Cincinnati, could potentially do it if they can, but again, like they got that BYU game, so I don't know. That just gives them a good shot to potentially get jumped by somebody. And like Arizona and TCU again are 2 teams that are no slouches in your conference. Arizona might be a bit of an easier win, but the Horned Frogs would not want to play them.
Don't sleep on them.
Yeah. All right, well, let's drop some conference winners for us and who you're predicting. Memphis is looking like is still my favorite for the group of 5 right now, but don't sleep on San Diego State, who I think should be ranked right now, man. Aztecs are 7-1. That defense looks dominant. I mean, I know they haven't had the craziest schedule, whatever, but I would just throw them in there.
Yeah, just
their one loss is to Washington State, which I guess on paper doesn't look great, but and they went into Northern Illinois and won 6-3. That's kind of crazy. But
they
besides,
somehow have less votes than who's voting for JMU to be in the top 25? Who's voting for James Madison in the top 25 over Pittsburgh, San Diego State? Even South Florida and SMU aren't even ranked, but James Madison is receiving 53 votes to be in the top 25 over these schools. What the heck is that?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, JMU's looked pretty good this year. They've been pretty dominant for the most part, 7-1. They're only lost to Louisville, which is a better loss than some of those other teams.
True.
And yeah, I mean, for the most part, they've been dominating their opponents. Like their closest victory was a 14-7 win over Georgia State. They beat Weber State 45-10, Liberty 31-13, Georgia Southern 35-10, Louisiana 24-14, Old Dominion 63-27, and Texas State 52-20.
Interesting school to be gaining a lot of talent because weren't they made the NCAA tournament last year.
They were the team that beat Clemson round 1, right?
Yeah. And everybody at the end of the year found out that, like, is it even a real college? And it's like there was a whole internet investigation. Obviously, it's a real school, but like they just came out of nowhere, and they got a bunch of decent players on multiple programs.
Did they also have like who's that team? Was it them that had the team that had like the famous equipment manager too?
No, that was McNeese State.
McNeese, okay. That also beat Clemson.
Also, yeah, another team to knock off Clemson. My God.
So wild. All right. Well, I think it's that time, Kevin. We play our favorite game, higher or lower, or just right on the top 25.
I like it.
Or should we start at 1 or 25 again this week?
I think we start at 25. because that's where more of the conversation is right now.
Yeah.
Because Cincinnati
Should they be there?
being in over Pitt,
I would
San Diego State.
I would take Pitt personally
Yeah,
over Cincinnati right now because Pitt's got what, one loss? Two?
one loss.
No, yeah, only one loss.
Well, 2 losses, 1 in the conference, and they've had a pretty solid schedule this year, and they're a top-ranked team in their conference. I
They
feel
did
like
lose
that's
to
warrants them.
West Virginia, which is kind of an ugly loss. But then Louisville, I mean, they've just been, besides that they just crushed pretty much everyone they played, besides Florida State, who they beat on the road in a last-minute fashion, 34-31. But they've just been just shredding people. Their 2 losses are the only time this season they've scored less than 31 points, it looks like. Maybe 30. No, yeah, less than 30 points are in their only 2 losses. And they got pretty darn close with 24-27. I'm just saying, like, Pitt looks really impressive. I would put them in here. They're 9th in the country in total passing yards, 9th in points scored.
That Iowa State win is really what's keeping Cincinnati in this top 25.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
their best win
I don't know,
of the year
like,
so far.
I get that they were up there a bit in the rankings, but man, they just got BTA against Utah, and at that point, I'm like, I guess I can kind of see it keeping them in there because they were so high up, and you don't want to just outright remove them. But like they did that for Penn State and Texas earlier
I think it's fair if it happens
in the
here.
year. So yeah, like I'm like, I mean, when you just get embarrassed like that, I get it was on the road. But I think, like, let's let somebody in that's been on a bit of a hot streak, like after those 2 losses, Pitt's won 5 in a row, I think. 6, something like that. I think it's 5, but yeah, I'm more inclined to lean on the team that's looking really good, that's won 5 straight. That's gonna, and it would help Notre Dame out a bit because then Notre Dame can potentially get a win against another top 25 school. So Pitt's base, like Pitt would have to be like what, 26 if they're not 25. I would put them at 25 and just leave Cincy out of it. Washington at 24. Dude, this team's been sneaky, but Washington's got a good fucking squad.
I think they're
Excuse my language, a good squad though.
they're definitely worthy of being in there. Let me see. They beat Illinois. Was that on the road?
No, that was
It was
there,
the
but
home game, but
they're
still
good at
42 points.
they're really good at home. Their only loss is to Ohio State and Michigan, which are 2 of the powerhouses in the Big Ten. So besides that, I mean, they've been pretty in control against everyone they've played.
Got a real test coming up. They got Oregon at the end of the year at home. Could definitely shake things up.
That's shaping up to be a top 25 matchup, just like the old Pac-12 days, which would be, that would be something epic. Yeah, no, I like Washington getting in there as a new top 25 team. So 24, yeah, Washington's been good. They watch out for them. They could just shake some things up and play spoiler for the Ducks for sure. Tennessee,
too high, man.
23. I think it's just right. They did lose. It's still a good team, and their 3 losses have come against 3 really good teams. And it wasn't like they got their ass kicked or anything. I mean, it was competitive. They just came up short. But yeah, you do need to move them down some spots to just make some room for some other teams. So I think 23 is a good spot.
Not a bad spot.
I'm okay with it. I mean, like, you can put Cincinnati above them. They just got mollywopped, and Washington just got in there, Memphis up to 22. I'm okay with that. was a good convincing win against Rice. That
Yeah.
UAB loss does still weigh on you a little bit, but yeah, you can keep them in there. They're 8-1. They're looking pretty good. Michigan at 21. I think it's fair just because USC is above them, and USC does have the head-to-head against them. So 21-20, I'm good with. Missouri on the bye week stays at 19. I'm okay, neutral with that. Miami at 18. Man, maybe you throw Miami down to 21 and bump Michigan and
Those
USC
other three.
up there, or leave Michigan at 20, keep Missouri where they're at, and put USC at 18. That was a pretty bad loss there to SMU. That was a little shameful. I'm not gonna lie.
They were in the conversation to be that team that could be ranked above Ohio State at the 1 seed earlier in the year, and that's completely changed.
Yeah, that's fallen off a cliff. It's moves fast here in college football. Utah at 17.
I like it. That's fair.
Yep.
They've had some good wins this
big
year.
jump up from where they're at.
Pretty much swapping places with Cincy.
Yeah. The big dominating win too against the team. So maybe you can make the argument that they be above Georgia Tech and Vandy, but I think Vandy and Tech, their losses definitely. Well, Tech not necessarily against a better opponent, but they've been the better team for most of the season, and they only have one loss. So I'm good with 17, 16, and 15. I think those teams are all just about right where they're at. Two teams that were in the top 10, and so you got to obviously drop them after the losses, but Utah hasn't quite proved that they could jump them yet. Louisville at 2 and Louisville at 14, Texas at 13. Flip-flop those, I'd say.
I think, Louisville should be above. Just a 1 seed, though. Only because of the Texas losses.
Right.
That Florida loss, I feel like you got to be underneath.
Yeah, that definitely. I think in Louisville only 1-loss team, so better. Yeah, I think they just deserve to be 1 spot higher than Texas. Virginia at 12.
I think that's fair.
I like it. Yeah, because again, their resume isn't as insane as some of the teams above them. So I like they also lost to NC State, which is actually kind of funny. I don't think that game actually counted as a conference loss because it was like I don't know what the exact reason was, but it didn't count as a conference loss, which is funny. Huh. They got good wins against Florida State, Louisville, so. But then they have kind of struggled the past few weeks. A little bit better against Cal, but they'd almost drop one at UNC. Keep them there. Oklahoma at 11 and Notre Dame at 10.
Maybe
I'm good.
Flip those two, but
I could say you could maybe flip them, but I'm also okay with that.
This
Oklahoma
just
loves
Notre Dame, though.
Huh?
This committee is in love with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Though. They're the only team that's like lost games and barely dropped any rankings.
They were all the way back at like the 24 after they started 0-2. So they've clawed their way up week by week, which if they make it in, it's gonna be kind of an insane season that they turned around. I think I would probably personally just flip-flop Notre Dame and Oklahoma just because Oklahoma's had the better schedule or the tougher schedule.
Tougher conference.
And
Notre Dame not being in one kind of screws them. But
and the better wins. I mean, you beat Michigan. You knocked Auburn out of the top 25. Your losses are the Texas and Ole Miss, but you've beaten Tennessee as well. And also, they got Bama coming up, so it would have been nice if they could have made it like a top 10 matchup between Bama and Oklahoma. Then we go Texas Tech at 9, BYU at 8. I think that's good there, those two teams.
That's fair.
8 and 9, good spots for them.
Texas Tech, one loss being to Arizona State. That's not a bad loss at all. And their offense has been absolutely insane. 42 and 43 points scored after they got held to 22. They're right back in full stride.
I think they've been besides their one loss, every game that they've had.
Over 30 points.
Yeah, 34 or more, it looks like, besides the loss when their QB was hurt, Morton. This is it's Beherin, that's right. Or Perrin. I got to look up how you pronounce it again. It's a weird spelling. Yeah. They do have the one loss. BYU's undefeated. I think the teams above them, you can just make more of a case to be where they're at. I mean, this might be kind of a crazy take. Oregon maybe could be at 9, and then you move Old Miss up 1, BYU up 1, and Texas Tech up 1.
That I could see. I could see that.
I mean, their big win was Penn State, and that's just looking worse and worse by the day.
Yeah, they've dropped 5 straight.
And it's they don't really have another signature win. They lost to Indiana. And I mean, their next best win is, I guess, Wisconsin, Northwestern.
I guess I don't really mind them staying where they're at because they had a bye week.
Right.
But
I think they were probably just too high to begin with, back then.
Yeah.
I get that it's Oregon, but I mean, BYU and Texas Tech have definitely played some tough competition.
Just have had more to work for this year. I feel like Oregon's schedule kind of set up for them to just make a playoff run and not really have to worry about too much with those conference rankings. They just want to be a top 12 team. They're worried about the playoffs.
Right.
They're not really worried about.
I think at the very least, Old Miss should be ahead of them. Old Miss has got the better resume than Oregon does this season. And I'm a Oregon fan too, but I just they haven't had the most impressive run this season. It hasn't been a super tough schedule. Their real one opponent they had to play. Yeah, well, and then they lost to
the other real squad that they had to play,
Indiana. So that's really their only real opponent, and that was no. Then the top 5, I gotta say, is perfect. I mean,
this is yeah. I can't complain about this top 5.
Ohio State, Indiana could flip flop, could not. I don't take it or leave it. I mean, there's no reason to take Ohio State out of first, and unless they lose, really. A&M at 3. Because again, I think they've got a pretty comparable resume to Indiana. I think Indiana's just got some more dominance over teams that were ranked. Because you look at teams that were ranked when A&M beat them. Notre Dame 41-40, and then they did blow out LSU, but LSU's kind of falling apart, if we're being honest.
Yeah, that doesn't look.
Which I think
is bad.
Going, beating Illinois by 53 and then going into Eugene and winning by 10 looks a little more impressive. And then just, curb stomping your next 3 opponents. They beat them by, I couldn't even do that math that quick, but their opponents only scored 29 points versus, I mean, you had 56, 55, and 38 together. That's off the top of my head, that's probably somewhere around 140-ish. You're outscoring your opponents in those 3 games by near on the margin of nearly 110. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very good. Alabama and Georgia, 4 and 5.
The 2 best one-loss teams in the country.
Seriously, I was about to say that
maybe you can make the argument for
watch out
for Old Miss potentially over Georgia.
They're just undecided. They've got the younger.
Well, except Georgia has the
player,
the head-to-head victory against Old Miss too. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah.
But if the 4, 5, and 6, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, I think we would have had probably great top 10 rankings.
Dang near perfect top 10. All right, let us know what you think of the top 10 rankings, and if we got anything wrong or if the committee got anything wrong. We're going to go ahead and head on our break, and when we come back, a crazy Sunday of NFL action to break down. Ravens are alive again. Bengals losing in embarrassing fashion. Is Minnesota back? What's up with Green Bay? There's so much to cover. Don't miss it here on Till the Final Whistle, presented by Military Broadcast Radio.
Delay of game, 5 seconds before the show. But hey, thanks for watching.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And you are looking live, everyone, at Till the Final Whistle. The boys are back, and it's time to head into NFL Week 9. We had, honestly, a good slate of games. Thursday night, we saw the Ravens go crazy on the Dolphins with their boy Scoop. And now, got to look at this Sunday slate, man. Because J.J. McCarthy looking like he might be the answer, maybe?
Looking good in the return. Minnesota got some life again in that team. They take down the Lions 27-24. And their other NFC North foes faring pretty well in Cincinnati. Absolute bedlam in this Bears-Bengals game. The Bears win at 47-42. We will definitely
What a game.
Break down all the action in that. On the other side, though, Green Bay struggled, offense looking lifeless against Carolina. They lose 16-13. The Chargers really outplayed the Titans on offense, but some special teams and defensive plays from Tennessee kept them in this one early, but LA pulls away, wins it 27-20. Patriots got up big and then almost let the Falcons sneak back, but they hang on to win by 1 point, 24-23. The 49ers, I swear, scored like the quietest 34 points this week. They just,
yeah.
I mean, they just kept marching it down the field, punching the ball in the end zone. I feel like Red Zone like got back to this game late, and I was like, they've got 34. Like, what even happened? It was a very, very nonchalant beatdown. The Steelers defense finally playing up to its price tag. Man, 6 takeaways in this one. They hand the Colts the second loss of the season, 27-20.
Colts looked human on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's what was. They looked beatable.
It did. The Broncos continue their fourth quarter shenanigans, heroics, whatever you want to call it, in a defensive slugfest between two of the top defensive units in the league. Denver comes out of an ugly one, 18-15. The Jacksonville Jaguars off of the bye week, no Travis Hunter. Brock Bowers back for the Raiders. Boy, did they miss him in that offense. This game goes into overtime. We had a new NFL record set in it, and the Raiders lose it in overtime, going for 2 because Pete Carroll wanted to throw the ball at the goal line again. Shocking.
Why on earth? Like, I saw the offense take the field, and I'm like, well, there's nothing that's going to happen here other than the Jaguars getting the win. And I'm sitting there watching it, swatted at the line. And I'm like, why?
I mean,
that's why. You got Genty and you got Bowers.
Yeah, I respect him going for 2 because at that point, like,
just go for the win.
A tie, like, you're 2-5, like a tie barely does anything for you. It's almost the same as a loss. So at that point, I mean, yeah, you might as well just go for broke.
And like, Geno hasn't been the option. He had a good game in this one with Brock Bowers back, but he's not been the option for them. And at this point, it's like, why even win games? Like, they did the same thing last year where they lost like 6 games in a row, and then randomly at the end of the year wanted to win a bunch of random games against good teams.
Yeah, like won like 3 random games.
Bounce themselves out of a top 5 pick, and everyone's upset with them.
They drafted at 6 this year.
Yeah.
So they went with Genty. It's like, damn.
And it's like, Genty's cool and all, but you got a 40-year-old quarterback that's giving it away.
I'm watching these teams that have QBs that are just playing terribly, and I'm thinking like, man, like there's this guy named Shedeur Sanders
that they all could have had.
But like the team that does have him
doesn't want to
give him a chance.
They want to keep letting Dylan Gabriel just not throw the ball to his receivers. Glad they were on a bye.
Yeah.
Browns. Didn't have to watch.
Oh, game of the
Browns
week
football.
next week, Browns Jets. That should be a thriller.
Heck yeah.
Um,
Heck yeah.
Well, also another team that could have taken Shador, but they went the shuck route
The
instead.
shuck route.
The Saints
He got
and
in his first start.
Tyler
looked ugly.
Cook's first career start. It was a tough one on the road. They lose 34-10 to the Rams, who are 6-2. Chiefs, Bills, we look forward to it every regular season and almost every postseason. And this game didn't disappoint as well. Defense for Buffalo looking renewed, held Patrick Mahomes to his career low in completion percentage.
And I mean, it
Josh-
does a number when you put a spy on a mobile quarterback.
It
Way
really
to go.
does.
Some great calling right there. And it's almost like it's been right in front of their face for his entire career.
Mhm.
You put a spy on a mobile quarterback and you limit their efficiency. Man, if only the Bengals could have done that this week, they might have got the win. All right, their boy Caleb Williams was scrambling almost every play.
It's carving them
And
up.
there was not even a thought in their minds to have a spy in that game. Big win at home for the Bills. Josh Allen was incredibly accurate too, 23 of 26.
3 total touchdowns in this one as well. Yep, 28-21. They get the victory. I mean, they've won like the last, I think now 5 in the regular season. They just can't beat them in the postseason, and that's when it matters. So
That's
we'll
what
see.
it really matters.
Chiefs are definitely looking at an uphill climb to make the playoffs, though. At 5-4, I think they would right now be 8th, which is out.
Yeah, they're 8th in the AFC right now, so they're not even in it.
They've got work to do, that's for sure. Sunday night football, Jaden Daniels returned, but it did not matter. The Commanders, that team is really performing below expectations.
Yeah.
Tougher schedule. The defense certainly did not improve in the offseason. Sam Darnold's playing like an MVP candidate. I'm just going to say it. He carves them up for 4 touchdowns. All Seattle in the throwback unis, 38-14. And then Monday Night Football, the Cardinals, they got their new QB. I'm sorry, Kyler, but Jacoby Brissett.
No, you want to hear a crazy headline?
This is your team.
Gannon says that Brissett, he actually said this in the media availability. Brissett is still the backup when Kyler Murray returns. After all this, they break their losing streak finally, and they're going to go with a little Kyler Murray again.
I give that 3 quarters.
Exactly.
Before they put Brissett back in there. Yeah, good
John
victory.
Gannon wants a job.
For the Cardinals on the road in Jerry World. Dallas's defense is just so bad. They did add Logan Wilson to it today in the trade with the Bengals, but we'll see if that's really enough to help just how poorly they've been playing all over the field. They lose 27-17.
Heck of a trade, though. They're trading for a defensive player on one of the worst defenses in the league. That's big brain.
We do have another trade that did just recently go down while we were live on the air. I've been saving it. About an hour ago, the news broke from Adam Schefter. Raiders are trading Jacoby Myers to Jacksonville in exchange for a 4th and a 6th round pick.
Yeah, that's smart for the Raiders right there. Load up on picks for this year because you've got some good young talent that you want to build off of.
Good to
Just
ship off
continue.
Jacoby Myers too.
He's good, but he just didn't want to play there.
Yeah, no, he was not enjoying this time. And I think Jacksonville will certainly have a bigger role for him with Travis Hunter now on IR. And Brian Thomas Jr. having, his struggles. And their tight end, Strange, just hasn't really been able to be healthy. So another weapon for T-Law. Kind of crazy to trade him to the team that just beat you. But, I mean, it's a business. You can't be petty like that. But, K-Man, which game would you like to start with our more in-depth analysis of?
I think it might be good conversation that Mac Jones might just take the job from Brock Purdy at the end of the season. It sounded like more of a dream at the beginning of the year. But we're seeing Brock Purdy been battered all year. When he has came back, hasn't been at full strength, hasn't been able to really be successful. But Mac Jones comes out, you just need to give the guy a couple bananas and have him hand it off to CMC 28 times.
Dude,
He's been managing this team and running the offense, though.
I mean, he's putting up some good numbers. I mean, his completion percentage is usually pretty good every week. Hasn't been turning the ball over a bunch. I mean, he's 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns to 5 picks this year. I mean, things have looked all right with Squishy. I'll say that Squishy Mac is what I call him. And I mean, yeah, despite all the injuries to the offense and the defense, they just keep finding ways to win these football games. The big part is I think Christian McCaffrey is healthy. That makes a world of difference.
Yeah, he's going crazy for him. 28 carries, 5 receptions.
2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. I mean, he's basically their leading receiver and their leading rusher every week. Good to see them getting Brian Robinson involved a little bit more. Only 5 carries for 53 yards, but it does take a little pressure off of C-Mac, albeit not a ton there. And yeah, like the Giants made this look a little closer late. Jackson Dart tossed 2 touchdowns, got another one with his legs. But the young QB, he's going to be a good player in this league, but man, he's just doing it with like nobody else.
Yeah, he can only do so much throwing the passes to Gunnar Olszewski.
He's got Evan Neal out there blocking for him with Devin Singleton and Tyrone Tracy as his backs. His top targets are Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Theo Johnson. And we're like Gunnar Olszewski's a special teamer out there catching touchdowns.
That's only because their other tight end, Daniels, went into the concussion protocol.
Oh, Daniel Bellinger?
Yeah, Bellinger. Bellinger.
I mean, that's not like that's a big upgrade over Theo Johnson.
Yeah, seriously though. Like they're
that's
least
that's
their
out.
defense is stacked, but they just can't sign a guy to their offense worth a damn.
Right, it's like Daniel Bellinger or Theo Johnson. It's like, oh, so lemon or lime.
Yeah, I'd actually rather throw it to Gunnar Olszewski.
Same thing, all right in small doses, but too much of it and just kind of get a pained look on your face. All right, another big thing, Niners were great at the ball control in this one. And despite all these injuries on defense, they're just finding a way to limit offenses just enough to give their defense their offense a chance to score. I still think we're going to see a move from them. I know they got Keon White off of what's their face, Patriots. But I think before this trade deadline ends, they're going to make one more move.
They definitely got to do something though. They gotta find a way to add some more depth to this roster at the end of the season. If they want to try and make a push for the division, they definitely need healthy players.
I'll tell you, a team, or two teams really that have made some moves, but in opposite directions. So first, we'll start with our 2 Thursday night teams. The Ravens actually shipped off Jair Alexander to the Eagles for a pick, and they go ahead and get Draymond Jones, solid pass rusher from the Tennessee Titans, just to help with that pass rush on the defensive line. That guy used to play for the Broncos, and he was good, man.
Good.
I thought he was balling. He had a really good season with us before we sent him to Seattle, and then he ended up in Tennessee's got 4.5 sacks this season, all coming in the last 4 games. So, good rotational depth piece there for the Ravens, who are looking good with Lamar Jackson back. Tua returned to his usual turning the ball over in inaccurate ways.
Yeah,
Mike
classic
McDaniels
Tua.
was just fried out of his mind calling up plays. I cannot believe he tried to throw like a fade route. He was 5'8" running back with a 6'4" Kyle Hamilton covering him.
Like, did they just want to try and get a flag on that play? Like, what was even the goal when you're on like the 7-yard line, running fade routes to your? It wasn't even like an outside fade. It was a slot fade from Devon Achane with Kyle Hamilton on it. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, Tua again. It's just, it doesn't seem like he's really taking a lot of responsibility either. It's always something else is doing this or that. It's like, dude, you're just playing bad. Your brain's mush. You got to retire. Shout out Craig.
Pre-game clip of Tua giving the hype speech. He's like, "We got 60 minutes a game, 4 hours of pain."
Hey, what you're putting a little too much energy in his voice there, man. That was the least inspiring pregame speech I've seen in a while. Yeah, like you couldn't get an alcohol.
He did.
You couldn't get an alcoholic to drink a beer with that type of energy, dude. I mean, that was. Yeah, no wonder they came out looking like a flat tire. Because like the Ravens just kept getting like short fields. They're like obviously a pick that set them up in a good position. There was a fumble, 2 fumbles lost as well. So like Miami really had the ball almost as much as Baltimore did, and did put up like nearly. Put up exactly as many yards as them, and somehow only comes out with 6 points. And that's Lamar Jackson, man. Ravens got him back. The Steelers
looks normal again.
Like the Steelers don't have that big of a lead on the division. The Bengals are dropping games. I mean, he gets right back in there, 4 touchdowns, and 2, on 18 to 23 passing, not a ton of yards, but again, the short fields. No turnovers, 92 QBR. Derrick Henry runs for $119.
First week back, and he was dropping dimes.
Yeah. I mean, the Ravens might be back, man. It's crazy. They look dead in the water. It looked like that the Steelers were going to run away with that division. They dropped a couple of games in a row. Finally get a win this week, but I mean, Baltimore is now you're constantly looking over your shoulder. Lamar stays healthy the rest of the year. I mean, he was on track for an MVP type season before he got hurt. He might still be able to put up the numbers to do it despite missing 4 games. Because like he missed 4 games and he still has 1,073 passing yards and 14 touchdowns. Only 1 interception. So, I mean, he's 12th in the league in passing touchdowns. He's sort of near the bottom in rushing yards. He's 30th in passing yards. He's 30th. But then you factor in all the rushing yards that he can get. And like, let me see what he's up to this season. Up to only 180 and 1 touchdown, but he can definitely get more. So I'm not even going to rule Lamar out for MVP he's going to have to ball out. I mean, every game is almost like a must win for the Ravens at this point.
Yeah.
But they're through the tougher part of their schedule, which is
the rest of it does get easier.
Like the Dolphins, I know they're looking to trade more than just Jalen Phillips. We'll get to that trade in just a minute, but Baltimore's schedule, if you look at it, and they've got the Vikings this week, who they've kind of been very all over the place, like they looked good against the Ravens or not the Lions this week, but they were getting gashed the past 2 weeks by the Chargers and Philly. So we'll see what type of Vikings team we got. Then you got the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Bengals. It's a little tough 3-game final stretch with the Pats, the Packers, and the Steelers. But a healthy Lamar, good chance they could win all of those games.
It really is.
And even so, even if they just drop 2 more of those, so they might drop one against the Steelers.
Yes,
Packers or the
splitting with
Patriots,
Steelers
they might
is-
lose too. I think they go like 1-1 in that stretch. And you're still looking at a 10-7 team.
Yeah.
Maybe a wild card. What's the Steelers record going to look like? I mean, they're 6-3 now. What are they?
Oh, they're 5-3 now.
5-3. That's right. But what's their record going to look like at the end of the season? Like, are they going to have their usual late in the year collapse, open the door for Baltimore to come in and win that division outright, get a home playoff game?
Even the Ravens as a wild card team that's got to go to your stadium. I don't want to play that team.
Not somebody you want to see in the first round.
No way.
Oh, boom. We just got another Chef D-bomb dropping.
There we go.
The Colts are trading 2 first-round picks to the Jets for cornerback Sauce Gardner.
What?
That's
wow.
A lot for Sauce, but that does make that secondary even better.
Even better.
I know he's fallen off a bit, but he's still a pretty good CB. I think he's still arguably a top 12, maybe top 10.
They could still use him out on the boundary for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna give the Colts a B, not C plus for that because I don't like giving up 2 firsts for him.
Crazy. I feel like they could have just kept one of that first.
We'll see if we got any more for that. But yeah, I gotta just pull up the Colts depth chart here because I know they got Cam Bynum and forgetting the other cornerback's name.
Adding to an already pretty deep roster.
Well, and right now Travarius Ward's on IR, but they're waiting to get him back. But they've got Cam Bynum, so that Nick Cross in there at safety. I mean, you can now you can bring in Sauce and potentially have him fill in for Ward until he gets back over Mekhi Blackman, and you kind of choose, who plays on the right side between Blackman and Edwards. Actually, I might have Sauce fill in for Edwards. You've got Kenny Moore there in the nickel. Travarius Ward gets healthy. That'll be a
stacked DB room, actually.
That's going to be a really good DB room for them, and paired up with a really solid front seven there. Zaire Franklin's just all over the field as a tackler.
They still got Buckner, right?
Yeah, DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart.
They're killing it.
They're on the interior. Quiddy Pay and Laya Latu they're showing some. I mean, they've been decent around the edges there. Latu, top 10 or a top 15 draft pick just 2 years ago. So I mean, they're just waiting for him to maybe he could bust out still. Plus Samson Abicon that they've been working in there a little bit. He's been really good. So it's a bit steep, but I do think it makes that Colts defense really good. It'll help them kind of weather the storm until Travarius Ward gets back. And then when Ward's back, I mean, that's going to be Kenny Moore in the slot, Sauce and Ward on the outside. That'll be a tough team to throw on. Well, let's talk about the Colts and their game against the Steelers, who did get back on track with a win. I mean, really, the defense didn't even play bad in this one. I mean, they held the Steelers to 38 yards rushing. Rodgers only had 203 yards and a touchdown. But 6 turnovers, man, killed them. That defense really showed up here. 6 takeaways, 5 sacks. Smith grabbing 2 of those. I was on the other side for Indy. I was talking about Laitu. He did pick up 2.5 sacks in this one. So
good game for the rookie.
Yeah.
All right.
Most of their defense or offense in this one.
Dude,
yeah, Indy was putting up yards. I mean, Pierce and Pittman both had 115 in the air. Danny Dimes threw for 342. They kind of got away from the run early, and yeah, the ball security was bad. And it was all, I mean, shades of New York, Daniel Jones.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
3 picks. He fumbled 3 times. He lost 2. Josh Downs lost the other fumble.
When you pressure Daniel Jones, turnovers and mistakes happen. He is human.
I mean,
that offensive line is great, but there's got to be times that people get through.
Also, when Jonathan Taylor's ripping off like 30, 40 runs,
Right.
runs constantly and is scoring like 4 touchdowns a game, I mean, it makes it a little easier on you as a quarterback. But yeah, the Steelers really forced the ball into Daniel Jones's hands, and he gave it away a lot.
The offense of Indianapolis has been doing an amazing job at taking some of the pressure off of his back with their skill positions. And just the whole entire team isn't going to have to be carried by Daniel Jones. But if they're playing up against a defense that has the front to do that, to eliminate your run game, force you to throw 50 passes, he's probably going to throw 3 picks.
And so the Steelers, you got all the takeaways, which you like, you'll hang your hat on. But again, you still gave up a lot of yardage, which definitely still has to concern you if all those takeaways aren't there. And the offense wasn't all too explosive. So we'll see if this is an outlier game for the Steelers defense, or if this is them finally just took them longer to kind of come into form here. But that was the big takeaway in this one. I mean, it was like if Indy could have just protected the ball, I think they probably could have won this game pretty easily. But they got really sloppy with it. And Pittsburgh, despite the 6 takeaways, only winning this game by 7. Which, I mean, like, you like to take the ball away 6 times. You'd think you'd convert on those opportunities more and score or win the game by more. So, not quite ready to hit the panic button with Indy. Could have just been, bad day from the offensive line. And I'm not sure if it's an outlier type of game for both teams. We haven't really seen this from either squad. So, for Indy, you're looking to not repeat this, and for Pittsburgh, you're trying to find a way to keep this going.
Yeah, keep that momentum going.
Well, Caveman, we might as well go on to your Saints because they are the next team to make a trade. Just hit my line.
Who did we get rid of?
Rashid Shaheed is going to the Seahawks.
Oh,
so that explosive Seattle offense got another a huge deep threat.
Oh, I'm getting him in fantasy, dude.
The Sam Darnold MVP candidacy.
It's gonna keep on rising.
The stock is up, man.
What did we get back in return for our boy Shaheed? Because it sucks that the only guy that's had some quality is gone.
Schefter just broke the news. It doesn't appear that there's the details of the trade.
Not the full details yet.
Not yet.
But Shaheed going to the Seahawks. I mean, in this game, the Rams looked like a contender, and the Saints looked like the worst team in the NFL. Like, we had some flashes, but our offense has been giving no chance to even compete in any games. For allowing 34 points, our defense really didn't have that bad of a game. Like, honestly, it's just they're out on the field so dang long. We had 3 offensive plays in the third quarter.
I cannot believe that.
And then we get the ball at the beginning of the fourth. We had 4 plays in the second half at the beginning of the fourth quarter because we just couldn't keep a drive going.
You had 9 total drives, and on those 9 drives, you had 10 first downs.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's terrible.
2 of 9 on third down, 0 of 2 on fourth down.
Only got sacked once, though. Like, Shuck really wasn't under that much pressure in this game, despite this pass rush.
Did you see the time of possession?
Yeah.
43 minutes the Rams held the basically 44 minutes.
It's almost the entire game.
That's insane. I knew it was bad. Like every time Red Zone was on this game, basically, except for like the one takeaway that you guys got, and then went down the field for your lone touchdown of the game. That was, I think, the only time I can even remember the Saints offense being on the field.
Yeah, no, it was all Rams. It was all Rams.
438 yards to 228 total yards.
It's like here 44
minutes. I mean, that's basically 3/4 of the game.
Yeah. And I don't even think that we should even have a thought process on any type of Shuck era. Like he got put in a bad spot mid-season. Team's got some injuries and we already suck. Like he didn't get thrown into a very good situation. But the offense didn't change. We're still running tempo. We're still hardly getting anything on the ground from our running backs. So you are going to be using your arm, kid. Like we came out, and this is arguably worse than Spencer Rattler. I mean, I give it 2 quarters in the next game before we see another QB change.
Right.
And then a quarterback will be drafted by New Orleans at the end of the season because the last 3 weeks of just ugly turnovers and having absolutely no offense. Like, I'm sorry, but the fact that Alvin Kamara didn't want to be traded, threatened to retire if he didn't want to be traded. Hey, man, you can punch me in the face outside of a nightclub. You haven't had more than 50 yards in 5 weeks. I get it. Your only game where you had more than 50 was off 21 carries. So again, that's not even that great.
New Orleans is just completely void of an identity offensively.
No.
And
it's come out and it's like, oh, we're gonna run a quick game. We're gonna run tempo. So our young QB, we're gonna keep the defense in the same formation. We're not gonna allow them to change up their look on our young quarterbacks too much, and then we can't even execute a simple play.
Yeah,
we'll get to 3rd and 6, and not have any routes go to the first down marker. In this game, it was a little different, like an insane pass rush from LA and just a young quarterback. I mean, I didn't really expect this guy to have a great game at all. Nobody was thinking in the back of their mind, oh, what if Tyler Shuck comes out and just goes crazy on the Rams? Like that was never a thought in anyone's mind. It's never a thought in anyone's mind for old Tyler Shuck to come out and have a good game in this one, even though it is first start. Like, man, I'm just looking at who we're going to be picking in the draft.
Yeah, we'll see.
Chambliss, Mendoza, Manning. Who are the Saints going to pick in the first round?
Dude, I'm looking at NFL MVP odds because I just want to flip it over to the Rams. This team is like when they're fully healthy. I mean, Kupp and Adams, that duo, not Kupp, Puka and Adams, that duo is so hard to stop. Matthew Stafford, at 37 years old, still playing some of the best football in the league. I'm looking at some of these MVP candidates. They got Josh Allen at number 1, then Drake May, then Mahomes. This is on ESPN, from the ESPN bet. Matthew Stafford at 4. I'm sorry, but like Josh Allen at 1 still, like, what are we doing, dog?
That doesn't even make any sense.
May and Mahomes, have been electric this season for the most part. But I even like Mahomes has had some struggles in these games. Matthew Stafford has 21 passing touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. He's 6th in the league in passing yards with 2,147.
He's got to be in the conversation.
Why is he only at plus 400 odds?
He's got to be in the conversation,
and then,
man.
I'm just seething with rage that my boy Sam Darnold's at plus 2,000 odds. I mean, are we kidding?
After that,
him and Justin Herbert are both down there at plus 2,000 odds. Josh Allen's plus 175. I mean, what are these MVP about these? Like, who are these people, man? Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's funny. After all the rumors that went out about the Saints, I watched his post-game interview with the Rams, and I knew he was gone. because that's the only questions that the media was going to ask him. Was if he was having conversations with Mickey and Kellen about potentially being the piece that moves at the trade deadline. And he pretty much told the media that they're going to find out. Now it's just like, yeah, he's getting traded. He's getting traded.
Yeah, he knew he was gone.
It sucks. But it adds another serious weapon to the NFC West.
My last little note on the Rams, also when they can run the ball with Corum and Kyler
they're
Williams,
dangerous, man.
Like the way they can just completely control the ball. I get it was against the Saints defense, but I mean even in an NFL game against like the worst NFL team, to have the ball for almost 3/4 of the game,
it's impossible.
Is insanely good. So if they can do that,
never happens.
I mean, if you can get like 50% of the way to what you did against the Saints against other teams, Rams are going to be a tough squad to beat. We'll cap it off with our NFC West because the Seahawks are also looking like a tough team to beat. Mike McDonald, aside from that game against Tampa, this defense has been insane.
They're on top of it, dude.
They have such a good defensive line, dude. Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams there in the middle are just monsters, dude. They're monsters. The like Tariq Woolen on the outside, locking down corners, and Sam Darnold. Again, dude, the run game has been pretty crap for Seattle. Like, if you give me just a second, I can pull up the rushing numbers for the Seahawks offense. I promise you, it's not very pretty. Let me flip that the other side. So we're looking, Seattle is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. They're the 9th worst rushing offense in the NFL. They've only run for about 83 yards, 831 yards this year, or 103.9 per game. Not terrible, but when you look at some of the other top teams here in the league that are averaging, 161 from Buffalo, Bears are averaging 144. Other good teams like the Broncos are 133, Colts are averaging 125. It's a pretty big drop off just in terms of average there. And all these teams are right around 1,200 yards rushing. And despite all that, the man Sam Darnold, with a really limited rushing attack, has thrown for 2,084 yards. So he's just behind Stafford for 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's pretty good there, too.
He's got to be in the freaking MVP conversation.
I think a little bit better than plus 2,000, man.
Way better than plus 2,000. I mean, especially after this game, it was out of reach before halftime.
Oh yeah, this game over at half, dude. 31-7. I don't know what we were doing with Jaden Daniels still out there. I hate to see that, man. That his arm got bent like that, dude.
He's lucky that's not his throwing arm, dude. Because that would have changed his career.
I mean, they said it was just it dislocated, so hopefully that's not as bad.
It's those hip drop tackles, man. We're really kind of finding out that it does injure people. Yeah. Because that same hip drop style tackle is what got Cam Scadaboo's ankle turned out the other way. So
I got the trade details on the Jets and the Colts and the Seahawks and Saints. So Jets and Colts, full trade was Sauce Gardner for a 2026 and 2027 first. So that's the next 2 drafts, and then AD Mitchell is also going. So, yeah, he was basically solely responsible for their other loss this season. He wiped out 14 points. Get him off the team. Not surprised. Maybe you can find the revitalization in New York, but I wouldn't count on it. Yeah, no. And then the Saints are getting a 2026 4th and 5th round pick in exchange for Shaheed.
Wow. Feel like we could have got a 3rd for him, but that's okay. That's okay because we only had 5 picks before this trade. We desperately needed to make a move to get some draft capital back.
Yeah.
Because we traded away a top 100 pick for Devon Vele, and he has done absolutely nothing. And that's not even his fault. We can't get into the red zone to make Devon Vele a valuable threat in our offense, even. Because what in the catches that he has had, he's got 2 PIs called, 5 first downs, and a touchdown in his 7 catches, or in his 7 targets. He's actually been one of the better receivers on the team, and he's barely even on the field.
Kind of ridiculous.
Like, if we could get our offense in the red zone, we could actually look at him as a valuable target. And hey, man, I'm down for trading for Devon Vele. But hey, we can't even get past the freaking 45.
I'm going to bring it on back to the Seahawks, because I highlighted some guys that have been the big stars this season for him, but Nicky Manware looking like an absolute steal in the draft. Stud. Looks like that. He's looking like an absolute hit through his few games. Again, DeMarcus Lawrence, one of the sneaky offseason moves that flew kind of under the radar.
Huge vet.
Just adds it's another guy you got to block on that defensive line. And I like Boye Mafe, Derek Hall inside of those linebackers there have been playing really well. I didn't mention Kobe Bryant or Devon Witherspoon that are also back there in that secondary. And like the mastermind of Mike McDonald coaching them up. And then on the other side, Clint Kubiak has just got this offense cooking.
It's actually another thing I wanted to say about the Saints. All our coaches that have left us in like the past 5 years, they're pretty successful right now. Sean Payton and Darren Rizzi over there winning games with the Broncos. Clint Kubiak. This offense is insane. Why did we keep Clint Kubiak? Man, I'm sure Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck would have loved to have that verticality in their offense.
Dude, Sam Darnold's loving it. To be fair, Kubiak, when you have a guy like Jackson Smith and Jigba, it can make play calling
easy money. And he's like, hey,
he can stress a defense out a lot. This is like his 7th straight game where he's had at least 8 catches for more than 120 yards. Didn't get a touchdown in this one, though. So that streak of also having a touchdown with that stat line is broken. A measly 8 catches for 129 and 0 touchdowns. Come on, JSN. Pretty terrible. Seahawks did
they got a nasty number 2.
The Niners are looking good, finding ways to win this game. But like the Rams and the Seahawks both look like Super Bowl contenders right now.
Yep. That move, honestly, that moves the needle for me on Seattle.
Oh yeah,
I can't lie. They got Jackson Smith. They can throw deep balls to him all day, but now you got a receiver that can run 21 miles an hour. How you got pretty much the fastest receiver in the NFL right now because Tyreek Hill is injured. So and honestly, they're
and like
much more of a threat.
He can go up and high point the ball. He's such a great route runner. He's got great speed, great hands. He's so lethal in the open field. Dude's been the best receiver. Like through 9 games, he's the best receiver in the league, right?
Easily.
Like we can still have the debate of who, is the best, but just this season alone, he's been the best. I'm gonna get to one of our only other non-1 score games that we had this week. Dallas losing last night to the Cardinals, who, again, it was just like the Dallas defense having a tough time stopping them. Deron Bland, Jerry Jones paid that man $92 million and let Micah Parsons watch. And he got shook out of his shoes by Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not saying it wasn't a great move, but you're a $92 million cornerback, and he made you do a somersault.
It was a great move, but in pretty much slow motion. Marvin Harrison walked forward 3 steps, then he then he does the cut, and he's literally walking the entire time. He's not even moving that fast.
I mean, the stutter into it wasn't that, but like when he exploded out of it, it was pretty fast. And I'm not saying like anybody like other corners wouldn't have gotten beaten by that.
Not that bad.
Like you fell on your ass and did a backwards somersault.
Yeah, they wouldn't have got beaten that bad.
And that an all right game. Again, he's a little like the some turnovers ruined some good looking Cowboys drives. The Javante fumble, a Dak interception, and a slow start for this offense is just basically a death sentence for the Cowboys. Stephen A. Smith was up in the booth with Jerry Jones watching this game, and then the Cowboys failed to convert on fourth down. They were 0 for 3 on fourth downs tonight, 5 of 12 on third downs. You watch them fail to convert, and Stephen, you can just read his lips. He goes, "All right, I'm going to head out," and just taking off for the exits. Yeah, Cowboys just don't look like they got the facilities to compete or keep up with Philadelphia. Eagles, I thought this division might be a little tougher, but I mean, it's each week it's looking more and more likely the Eagles just run away with it.
Run away.
Which, I mean, they've had some struggles and looked a bit more like beatable at times this year. So, I mean, like Jalen Hurts kind of just getting lucky there. I'm not even going to lie.
And then like the past few weeks too, we're seeing so many injuries happen on Washington's side.
Also,
they're battered and they're already pretty old.
I'm gonna murder Jonathan Gannon, dude. This man will not decide who his number one back is going to be. Like, and I got Bam Knight fantasy football, only 9 carries for 27 yards, but the Mr. Fumble the game away, DeMarcado, is in there for 14 carries. Like, who's RB1, Joe?
Who's the running
Please make up your mind, dog. It's driving me crazy. Like, until Trey Benson comes back, I think the Arizona backfield is just a fantasy no-go.
No, stay away from it. Stay away from it.
Unless you got like Trey McBride or Marvin Harrison, you're just don't worry about Cardinals.
Stay away from that.
Good game out of that defense of Arizona's, man. Calais Campbell making a lot of good stops at 39 years old, and Josh Sweat, good offseason acquisition. He had 2 sacks in this one. I don't know what his exact total is on the year, but he's been really good for him. All right, this game was a 1-possession game, but a pick 6 early for Tennessee and a punt return really helped in the first quarter, while the Chargers kind of got off to a slow start. After that, it was pretty much all LA. After that good first quarter, Tennessee's offense only managed 2 field goals. Again, Cam Ward's got nobody to throw to. Tony Pollard is your leading rusher with 56 yards. They just can't run the ball. They can't protect Cam. He got sacked another 4 times in this one.
He's dealing with some trouble.
Yeah.
I saw a clip from that week 1 game against the Broncos. They had a possession inside their own 10, and they called a pretty nice RPO in a trips formation. It was a nickel blitz from the Broncos. So that screen play and his pass option was going to be wide open. The guys were going to have blockers. But the 3 receivers that were out there, not one of those receivers figured out who was actually going to be the screen man. So you have an RPO play where 3 receivers are blocking and the quarterback wants to throw it with the nickel blitz coming at him unblocked. He just has to throw it in the dirt. And that play is over. They had yards, but it's like nobody else is paying attention but Cam Ward.
Tennessee fans, silver lining, I know this season's been just a pain to watch. It's been painful. But Cam Ward,
he's going to be elite.
He's going to be a demon when he gets actual talent around him.
He's going to be elite.
Because he's going to just be so like, then when he doesn't spend the entire game under pressure, because he actually has an offensive line and just sees pressure some of the time, he's going to have some incredible throws and escapes and scrambles that he's going to have some time to perfect while they're just getting absolutely hog slapped every game. Yeah, after the special teams and defensive plays ran out, it was all LA. They went on to score 20 points, only answered by 6 points in that time frame. And it looked like a 1-score game, But after the first quarter, it was a blowout by the Chargers. Herbert, another, besides the pick, very efficient game. 250 and 2 touchdowns, plus 57 on the ground in the TD. Herbert, man, like when he uses his legs, the Chargers are hard to stop, bro. He's been killing it with the scrambles this year. So good one for LA trying to keep pace with those red hot Denver Broncos. And you know what? Let's give my Broncos the shout next. They're 7-2, first place in the AFC West. And a stat that I just never thought that I'm just so not used to experiencing really as a Broncos fan. We're 4-0 when we were trailing entering the fourth quarter. 4-0, bro.
Honestly, I didn't expect
this is a team came in for years that, like, if we were even down by like 3 for most of the game, I was like, I didn't think we could win unless we had the lead, like a 10-point lead.
Going into the end of that. Yeah.
And now this team, like, even though Bo and the offense struggled a lot in this one against a really good defense, Houston has a really great defense. They're first in points per game. They only give up 15.1 points per game. And they also give up the fewest yards per game. So you had 2 top 3 defenses here. The top 3 scoring defenses and top 3 total defenses. So was this game going to be high scoring? Probably not, man. And tough break on CJ Stroud going out there. That was
tough hit there. It's kind of like that Trevor Lawrence one last year. It's like
a little less malicious because, like, that wasn't like helmet to, like, directly like spearing the guy in the face as he slid. Like Chris Abrams, he should have tried to, like, contort a little more to avoid Stroud after he dove at him. But again, like, you could see he wasn't aiming for the head. That he got his shoulder into his chest. It's just like the way Stroud snapped back onto the turf.
Yeah, you hit your back of the head right on the ground as hard as possible, running full speed. It's just, these calls are very tough, man. It's like, that's
a young player, and in that situation, he's like Stroud was scrambling for a first down. It was 3rd down, and
well, it's BS because
it's a tough spot.
You can barely hit him in the pocket, right?
Yeah.
You barely hit the quarterback in the pocket without getting a flag. But when they escape the pocket and become a runner, and you can hit them all the way up until they start initiating a slide. And then they're a defenseless runner and you can't hit them anymore. So you really only have these very slight windows where you can actually hit the quarterback. And it makes these tic-tac calls like worse and worse every time because somebody's running at him full speed and his job is to hit him with his body and make the tackle.
Right. And you can see, like, sometimes there does seem to be malicious intent, but like this one, again,
he tried to move away.
Right. He
just going full
didn't
speed.
do a great job of avoiding him after he slid. But like wasn't like his body contacting directly to CJ Stroud's head. It just, the impact into his chest probably made Stroud snap back into the turf harder. And that's what did it. He seemed pretty, like, broken up about it too. Like, he didn't, like, it wasn't like he got up, had teammates comforting him. He looked kind of distraught about that. Like, it was like, you had a pretty good gauge when the guy doesn't give a fuck or had like a malicious intent. And this one, like, it's just an unfortunate circumstance of the play. Fair call on the penalty. I mean,
an example of somebody that did not care. Go back to, like, I think this is like 2017, 2016. We're going Thursday night football with the debut of the Color Rush jerseys, and Kiko Alonso speared a sliding Joe Flacco and had that man knocked out, seeing stars. He returned to that game, surprisingly, but that one was that's a dirty hit. because he got up and is like, wasn't even feeling bad. He was just hype.
Or I direct you to like 30 different hits from Vontez Burfict
right
throughout his career. Or just last year when Aziz Al-Shir like literally leapt off the ground and speared like his helmet directly into the face of a sliding Trevor Lawrence. All right. Back to the rest of the game. Yeah, Davis Mills was in some trouble. Some bend but don't break from this Broncos defense. 5 field goals that they held them to. And then there are 2 drives that were impressive that led to touchdowns with how the defense played. That was enough. And it was which offense was going to be able to break through for a couple of good drives. And Denver did it. And then they got the ball back and put together, using Bo Nix's legs, man. Like he also, when he's been able to use his legs, he's used them in some clutch moments. I think we got to try to get him involved more with his legs.
In short yardage situations,
good things happen when Bo runs. He's quick too. He's got a lot of speed. Like
you guys, I feel like they should trust him more in short yardage situations to just run it if they're not going to run.
Like get some design QB runs or something too. Because like a lot of times the teams don't see the design QB runs. Like the one he picked up that got him into like a very comfortable field goal range. It was they had the center and the tackle. They pulled for him, but like he faked it to Dobbins, and the defense, they just flowed that way. They weren't really expecting Bo to take off with it. And so I get trying to use it sparingly because you don't want the defenses to be keyed in on him running it more. But even just earlier, if the offense is having some troubles getting going, just sprinkle it in there once or twice. See if that can do something for you.
It could definitely bring some momentum in there. Because sometimes it does feel like, does the Broncos offense have like a full identity yet? Because I feel like Sean Payton's playbook, I watched the guy coach Drew Brees, and I was watching those sale concepts for most of my childhood. Like you guys are like 40% in Sean Payton's bag.
Yeah.
For his play calling.
I think it's still Bo and Sean learning to work together and trust each other, you know. And I mean, it's been pulling through when it matters, and we've seen some great things from them, some great games from offensively. And so I'm not like with the defense we have. This is an elite defensive unit. Like it'll keep us in pretty much any game.
That's why it's perfect. Like he might be having a bad game, and then the defense gets him the ball back to get another opportunity to score. It's honestly the best case scenario.
Great team building. You still got a young quarterback. He's only in his second year, man. I mean, like there's still things he's got to learn and improve on, you know. And rather than just try to load up on offense and put it all on the QB, like build an elite defense that can keep this quarterback in games and give him opportunities to show up and make plays. And when it matters, Bo's been showing up and making plays. I'll take that. I mean, I'd rather be a great team in the fourth quarter and a bad team in the first than vice versa. Like you'll take that every week. So as long as we keep playing like we play in the fourth quarter, outscore the opponents the way we do, this team will go far. And yeah, I think the offensive line, another thing where they just built up the trenches. Great job against Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson, Derek Barnett, those guys, because only one sack.
You guys are built in the trenches. That's
Zach Allen, he had and Tuolunua Hufunga, fantastic games in this one as well. And John Franklin Myers doesn't really show up in the stat sheet, but he got a lot of pressures. And I think he batted the ball and was just also very disruptive, forcing Mills and Stroud to scramble, and forcing the running backs to have to bounce a hole somewhere else where Greenlaw or Singleton would swallow them up. Allen got a sack in the TFL. I think Riley did a pretty good job filling in the CB1, and I really liked. They had a lot of this game. They actually had Jahdae Barron covering Nico Collins, and I'd have to find the exact coverage stats for when he was a primary defender. But I mean, when they threw the ball to Nico and Jade was there, he didn't have a lot of success. So that's really exciting to see. Is just Barron becoming more involved in this defense and making some plays. Had the pick last week, a couple of big pass breakups this week.
Yeah, it's looking like the boys are going to step up without.
Like I don't even think the Broncos have hit their full potential as a team, offensively or defensively. There's been some lapse moments, and they still are kind of bad about giving up big plays. That's the crazy thing is this team's 7-2, and I don't think that they've played their best football. Like they've played their best, most complete game of football yet. Like they got pretty darn close with the Cowboys, but like the best version of this team is still to be unlocked. So hopefully we get that figured out and going into the postseason. But I do really think that there's still like an even better version of this team below the surface, better than the 7-2 one. But I'll take the 7-2 version of this team as well.
Right.
I'm pretty happy with that as well.
It's honestly, this is kind of where I did expect you guys to be coming up on your guys' bye week here pretty soon. It's just, I didn't expect the offense to have as slow of a start. I thought you guys were just going to be in full swing with all those ads. And got Evan Ingram, said he was going to be the Joker. I think the Joker might be RJ Harvey now. As we move on through this season. Or
another trade actually got for you. So the Browns have traded Joe Schroyenka, defensive end, and the 7th round pick to the Bears in exchange for a 6th round pick. So Chicago lost Deo Adengbo to a season-ending Achilles injury and has potentially added a replacement to a very good defensive front that they got there. So keeping the depth of that defensive line, getting Joe Schroyenka.
Pretty good pickup.
I will say, Jimmy, I want you to cover your ears now. We're going to go and talk about the Panthers, who dominated Green Bay on the ground and also defensively. Bryce Young, just, you're not going to like this. He threw for 102 yards in this game.
And they won?
Yeah. Because they had 163 yards on the ground. And despite that helped them control the ball a lot. I think with Green Bay, I mean, it was pretty even on the time of possession, but like Green Bay just had an interception and a fumble that hurt them. And I mean, this Panthers defense has got some dogs on it, dude. Like the Panthers are honestly not a bad team. I think they're fairly good in the trenches. J.C. Horn, such an elite corner.
They're smart with their zone.
Derek
they want
Brown,
to keep everything in front of them.
Right.
They're limiting those big play opportunities.
They're really willing to come up and tackle you. Some bend don't break philosophy. Christian Roseboom had his best game, the new free agent acquisition, 15 tackles in this one. And yeah, dude, I like not like necessarily like superstar names, but just some like solid, like guys that are really well-rounded players. Tershawn Wharton, Roseboom, as I mentioned, the rookie Nick Scorton, but Derek Brown has been is having one of his best seasons as a pro. DJ Wanham is a solid defensive lineman. So that's really where it starts. Is they're able to limit you fairly well on the ground, and then
they keep everything in
those
front
zone
of them.
schemes that they got. Yeah, they do a good job of really preventing the big play. And yeah, they finally did the right thing where they just gave Rico Dowdle the ball. Like, I'm sorry, Chuba, getting you involved was really hurting the run game. Rico, dude, as this game went on, dude, he just like he's perfect for this Panthers team because they just want to get you into a rock fight, a defensive struggle, and then pound the ball with Rico. And he's just going to chip away and wear you down as this game goes on. And he did that to Green Bay. Finished with 130 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Interesting, man. Like Kraft went down early. And it was looking like a promising start through the air for the Packers. And then after that, it sort of got rocky. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see like how much losing Kraft affects this offense. This is just where Green Bay's big weakness is though, like they've got a lot of talent on offense, but they
have issues in their offense,
right?
Which
That
doesn't make sense.
This offense can get stymied. And despite having such an elite defense, if the offense gets stymied, like a team like Cleveland or Carolina that can play really tough defensively,
and then run it down,
hang in there and beat you at the last second. And I think a big thing was just like Green Bay, like they weren't able to get into a rhythm, you know? Like it's a very they want to have, I think, a pretty sizable lead in time of possession and have that offense out there, you know, maybe 8 to 10 minutes more than the other team. When they do that, they look unstoppable because they get that rhythm going. But if you can disrupt that rhythm, it's just really tough for them to adjust, it feels like.
There are some broken down plays.
I thought
that near interception from Jordan Love. That late one.
I thought having Watson back would add some more explosiveness to this team, but again, like Carolina just doesn't let you go deep, and I don't know. Like this one isn't as concerning as the Browns because the Panthers, like, they're 5-4.
They're not bad.
This is a good. Like the Panthers are really a good competitive team. Like they've got the ability to hang in there with a lot of teams. So I'm not crazy shocked about this, but it is just a little weird that they're only 2 losses. They've been big favorites. And I think that both of these games have been at home. They lost at home to the Browns too, didn't they?
Let's see. That one was in Cleveland, that 13-10 loss in week 3. That was in Cleveland, but still not one that you really even had much trouble. Like the home field advantage for the Cleveland Browns, like it's not too scary to go there and get a win.
Myles Garrett really left his fingerprints on that one. All right, I'm just chomping at the bit to get to this game of the week, man. Holy, what a mad game this was. Bengals Bears, dude. If you told me at the start of the season that the Cincinnati Bengals were going to lose a home game when their quarterback named Joe throws for 470 yards and 4 touchdowns, I'd be like, yep, sounds like your typical Joe Burrow performance. And then you'd be like, actually,
oh no, we're talking about
it's Joe
40-year-old
Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
470, dude. That's nearly 10 yards for every year he is old.
Yep.
Like he's 41. So what you're probably looking at roughly random mass around like 8 point something yards per year on his age.
He's got 11 touchdowns, and I'm pretty sure 2 picks with the Bengals.
Yeah, he did throw his first 2 picks with the
mean,
Bengals in this one.
That's insane.
Credit to this Bears defense. They got a good defense here. They also forced him to fumble the ball. I mean, like despite that, they were trailing, and they scored 15 points in like the span in like less than 2 minutes. Drives down, gets a touchdown, and then they get the onside kick, drives them down again, gets the go-ahead touchdown. And you're thinking, oh, like they're somehow going to have a chance, you know, despite Chicago. No, they didn't return the one in this one, but was it a pick 6? No, I think this is all just offensive touchdowns. Yeah, it was
all offensive touchdowns.
I mean, like despite Monangai running for 176, I mean, he just had his way with them. And Caleb, dude, this is going to hurt Packers fans to hear too. Caleb Williams had 22 receiving yards and a touchdown, and the Packers' first-round rookie wide receiver Matthew Golden had 0 yards and 0 catches. So
they were pulling all the stops out of the bag.
Ben Johnson,
game, dude,
was in his bag. This is what we were expecting to see from the Bears with Ben Johnson against the worst defense in the league, or tied for the worst. To be fair, but Caleb also killing them with his legs. Whoever Britton Brown is, that just filled me with rage. And then also one of the most Bengals things ever, where DJ Moore gets marked out at the 1, but he loses the football. And you challenge that, and you're like, no, that's a fumble out of the back of the end zone, our ball. And they're like, all right, after reviewing this, DJ Moore broke the plane, so it's a touchdown, Chicago. And so you just went from, at least you had him stopped at the 1 you had a chance to get a stop, to
challenge it for no reason,
to giving them a touchdown. So now you're out of the timeout and the challenge and down another 6 points.
I think the scariest thing, though, for this team in Cincinnati is what's going down in the locker room. That post-game interview from Chase Brown, like, offensive players usually don't call out the other side of the football, man. It's usually
just
like
Chase Brown too. There were other guys.
It's not like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a
it.
fight in that locker room, dude. I would not be surprised.
Yossi Vosh, I think, definitely said something like.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if there's an all-out fight in that locker room, like a brawl between the offense and the defense.
This is the thing that makes it, like, if that's how Cincinnati in the Joe Burrow era kind of collapses, will they ever be able to get back to that spot? Because the saying is that an empire that falls from external forces can be resurrected, but an empire that crumbles from within is dead forever.
And they already are crumbling from within. You got your running back telling your defense to just finish the effing game. Like, not even really like the offense's leader.
I mean, I can't blame the offense, dude. Like, Chase Brown didn't really do anything, but like Flacco, despite the 2 picks, got them when it mattered the most, threw for like 130 something yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. T. Higgins caught 7 balls for 121 and 2 touchdowns. Chase had 6 for 111. Yossi Vosh, he got the game go ahead touchdown. Noah Fant caught one. I mean, like, all you had to do is keep him out of field goal range. There was like 20 seconds left, and then
nobody wanted to tackle Colston Loveland.
Like, why aren't we wrapping up there? Is what I don't get. Like,
he bounced off 3 people.
Right, like 3 guys all just lower the shoulder to knock him down. Like,
it's a tight end.
Like, okay, I get it if like maybe it's Olamide Zaccheaus or something coming off the middle, but you're gonna go with the try to knock over with my shoulder the 6'6", 241-pound tight end.
We're really losing our heads on that defense, guys. Like, what? The fact that they even completed that pass.
Wrap up. What are you doing?
With four guys surrounding him, he's able to break that off for a touchdown.
Breakout game for the rookie tight end too. I'm excited about this kid. If he games like this, 6 catches, 118, 2 touchdowns. I can see him having a number of games like this, man. It took him a while to get involved, but with Cole Kmet injured,
they just had Cole Kmet getting injured was the best thing to happen.
A great thing for him. Right. I
think
Ben
Johnson. I didn't think Ben Johnson realized that Colston Loveland is going to be much better for him vertically.
Like, I'm like,
because like
I get Kmet's the vet and everything. Probably does more, is better with the blocking schemes and everything. But I mean, like, we've seen his receiving numbers throughout his career. It hasn't been there. And again, this is a 6'6", 241-pound tight end that can run like a 4.4 40.
Yeah, he's fast.
Let's get this dude the football.
Get him the ball.
And it worked out.
Though, like, why not wrap up? That had to have been the funniest ending to a game, just because it's the most Bengals way to finish it. And if it happened the other way, that's the most Bears way to end a game.
Right.
Just allowing that. Nobody could wrap up.
An off game for a usually really good Bears defense. So
yeah, and I don't know.
I'm still uncertain about Chicago. Like they're just all over the place this year, and
they're being the Bears for sure.
But I mean, that's in this NFL season. You have no idea who's good, and I raise you another NFC North matchup. This time between two NFC North teams. Who would have thought that the Vikings go in and just have their way in Detroit?
This was a good week for them to get a lot of injured people back because they got some real athletes back. Van Ginkel was injured for a while. This was his first week back. He did a great job getting some pressures in off the edge and some tackles for losses.
Well, this defense that had just been getting torched the past 2 weeks, and then they get the Lions, who, like the week before, like Vidal just ran right through this team. But David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs get held to 65 total yards. The Goofer Goff has a solid game, 284, 2 touchdowns. They did a lot through the air. Amon-Ra and Laporta both with 97.
It was interesting though that they kept going with Montgomery in the backfield after that fumble. I thought Jahmyr Gibbs might have gotten more of the carries.
I feel like Gibbs might have gotten banged up or something because they weren't going to him as much on the carries. They kind of got away from calling the run. Like they sort of abandoned the run, which I think they just weren't having a ton of success with it on first down, and they would want to throw it on second and third, and that was a big difference for Minnesota, who really just, when they were able to get these scoring drives, it was on the ground. McCarthy, 3 total touchdowns in this one, 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. And some big plays out of the defense.
Such a confusing league. There's 3 guys in the NFL, and 3 of them are named Byron Murphy, and they're all on different teams. The Rams, Seahawks, and the Vikings all have a guy named Byron Murphy.
I think they all play different positions.
Yeah, one's an edge rusher, one's an outside linebacker, and then I'm pretty sure Byron Murphy Jr.
He's a cornerback.
Yeah, he's a corner on the Vikings. That's insane. But back to this game though. We saw Terrion Arnold make a little comeback for the Detroit defense. He was injured for a little bit. I mean, they didn't do too bad stopping this pass game. It was just Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason in the run game.
It was whoever won the trenches offensively got the victory in this one because the Vikings ended up just running the ball a lot better and were able to chew some clock late after getting up 17-14 at halftime. And you look at both teams with 5 sacks. So, defensively, both squads were getting pressure on the quarterback, but Minnesota being able to run the football just worked out for their favor later in this one and just left Detroit with less time to operate, despite Detroit narrowly winning the time of possession battle.
This was honestly,
again, it's just a confusing league because like the Vikings the past 2 weeks just
looked like crap,
helpless defensively, looked terrible. The offensive line was getting
torched,
ripped apart. Like Carson Wentz was dying back.
The offensive line pretty much got Carson Wentz injured for the rest of the year.
But then they gave out the 5 sacks, but they get a good push running the football and do just enough to win this one in a close. I mean, it was close there at the end, but they sneak out of Detroit with a victory. It's pretty muddy there in the NFC North. I mean, every team's 500 or better. You got 2 teams at 5-3. Vikes are 4-4. Packers 5-2-1. Still anyone's division there. All right, we got 3 more games left that we got to cover. First, Patriots.
That's their 6th
improved to
win
7-2. So 6th win in a row.
Drake London is kind of proven to be a good receiver one, though, for Atlanta.
Falcons, again, so confusing. They don't really run the football all too well, but Drake London and Michael Penix have a great connection. Drake May, a bit of a come down to earth game for him. I mean, he had one interception, so he's been really good about protecting the football, but despite that, still 259 and 2 touchdowns.
He got sacked 6 times in this one.
Yeah, Falcons that were couldn't pressure Tua at all last week, but were able to get after May a ton in this one. And that was, the threat of the run wasn't there. 33 carries for 110 yards, only 3.3 yards a carry. The only 2 healthy backs on the roster were Travion Henderson and Terrell Jennings, which shout out Terrell Jennings for getting a touchdown for me this week in fantasy. That's helped.
Clutch.
Didn't do much else. He only had 35 yards rushing, but that touchdown was big. And yeah, this was just Atlanta not really being able to. They got off to a slow start offensively, and we're down. And they just had a bad. Well, not really necessarily a slow start offensively, but they just didn't quite keep pace with New England. And then when they had a really bad third quarter offensively, it just proved to be a little too much to overcome. They scored 9 points, were just short of a comeback victory against New England.
Yeah, man. AFC East. Bills got some bounce back wins to make it a little more scary. But the Patriots on a 6-game streak, and they've taken down the Bills in that streak. I think Drake May getting sacked a lot in this game and turning the ball over and having some film of mistakes to look at only really makes this Patriots team a little bit more dangerous, man.
It's crazy just how pro ready he's been, though.
Seriously, he came out.
He's like he's again top 3 MVP candidate right now. He's insane, man.
The UNC really coached him up well for the NFL, man. Let's look at the stats on the season. 2285 passing yards, which is 5th in the league. Tied for 3rd with 17 passing touchdowns, and he's only got 4 picks with a top 5 QBR. This guy's nuts.
I mean,
he's been killing it.
Jaden certainly had the best rookie season, but now that we're about a year and a half into everyone's campaigns,
Drake May definitely the best out of the class.
I mean, Bo's got the better stats, but again, he also has more games. So I think with Drake May, with how efficient he's been in this smaller sample size, I'll give it to him. But I still like Bo. I still think my boy Nix is better, but we got to get a head-to-head matchup between those two to determine.
That's what we got to see. That's what we got to see.
Another head-to-head matchup we all love watching: Allen versus Mahomes. Another year, we get it. It's here in Buffalo, and the Buffalo defense just did a good job, despite being banged up. They were missing some guys, but you had the rookie, what's his name? From the kid from Kentucky. Hairston, Maxwell Hairston. He was really good in this one, but Cole Bishop was all over the field. 4 pass breakups. He had 7 tackles, TFL. And it was like they went at him on 3rd or 4th down a lot, and he came through, man. A couple of big pass breakups and good old-fashioned Bills efficiency on offense. They ran for 141 yards, passed for 273. Again, the KC's lack of a run game has been hurting them a lot this year. It's just like Mahomes, definitely one of his worst games as a pro. He only had 250 yards passing. He was 15 of 34, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Did a really good job pressuring him in this one and not allowing him to escape the pocket and make plays with that QB spy, like we were talking about earlier, man, they really could just set the edge in that pocket and didn't really let him get to the outside. If they wanted him to make a play in the pocket, he's going to have to step up and deliver it downfield. Because, I mean, he really only has Rashee Rice.
He did have that big 4th down and 17 conversion that did eventually lead to the touchdown.
That play was absolutely insane.
And on that play, why, like Joey Bosa, why did you he seemed to try to set the edge or contain, he had a shot to run at Mahomes and he kind of stopped and backed up he was not going to let Mahomes run, and I'm like,
oh, you got to go for the
it's
tackle.
4th and 17.
Yeah.
He's got to run 17 yards. You might as well
just hit
even
him.
if he gets past you and he tries to scramble. At that, it's far less likely for him to pick up 4th and 17 with his legs than with his arm. And then sure enough, he had extra time and found the guy. Guy came open. Despite all that, Buffalo holds on, gets another regular season victory against the Chiefs, which, I mean, just they got to beat them in the postseason still, but this does help, make it harder for the Chiefs to lock up home field advantage, make them play from the road. That's something that they haven't had to do a whole lot of during this little dynasty run that they've been on.
Scary, man. That's scary. I got my fingers crossed that the Chargers don't charger it up for the rest of the year.
Late in the season, yeah.
And the Broncos and the Chargers can just go into the playoffs for the AFC West, and we don't have to worry about the Chiefs. It's probably not going to happen. It's probably not the way that it's going to go down.
It's if the Broncos can win the division,
if you guys,
you can
Broncos
see
and Chargers,
the Colts probably win it.
Down.
The Bills or Patriots will either win theirs, and then Ravens could probably win theirs. So then you're looking at hopefully Steelers, potentially Jaguars or Chargers and Bills / Patriots.
Yeah,
looking to sneak into the postseason and just keep the Chiefs out. But I don't have a ton of faith in some of those teams to not.
No, I don't have a lot of
find some way to miss the postseason and let the Chiefs sneak in there.
Like the Jags missing and the Chiefs getting ranked higher than them at the end of the season, being the last wild card spot. That's probably the more than likely ending to this season. Or it's one of those AFC South teams is just going to be too bad by the end of the year. They're just going to stink too much. They won't be able to get it, string enough wins at the end of the year.
That does actually take us nicely, though, into our final game this week, because it was an AFC South team that has playoff aspirations, but went down to the wire in Vegas there. I think the Raiders missed Brock Bowers. 12 catches, 127 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Basically their entire offense. Makes me a little bit nervous of that Broncos game because
that's kind of been
last year we had Surtain cover Bowers for the most part, and that worked out pretty well. This year, I mean, Greenlaw can probably cover him. I don't feel great about Singleton having to cover him. Or I can Hufanga come down into the box and just cover him straight up, because I mean it's just you
guys got to get physical with him.
It's tough free. Because he is on the line of scrimmage a lot. And that's just why it's hard to cover him, because he they don't line him out out in the slot a whole lot.
Yeah, he is really.
So it's just you can't really go up on the line of scrimmage and press him. There's just too much congestion there, so you have to just be able to track him, so he's able to get a running start.
Maybe it's a big game from your DNs, just chipping him before he gets out on those routes.
Yeah, dude.
It could limit your guys' pressures, but at the same time, who the hell does Geno want to throw it to?
Well, now Jacoby Myers is gone. I think we're all right. The big thing is just can we trap Bowers and force Geno to make a play to somebody on the outside? That'll be the big thing. playing him because Jacksonville had no answers for this guy. He had an incredible one-handed catch. It was clear that he needed, he got off to a slow start this season. Clear it was because he was injured. He just needed to rest up. It's too bad the LA season is basically on life support at this point. But on the other side, T-Law, no, what's his face? Travis Hunter was going to Parker, Washington a lot. And
when I saw that he was like one of the highest rated guys getting added on fantasy teams, I'm like, no way. I'm not adding Parker Washington to my squad. And then he gets 90 yards
on 8 balls.
Do we just forget about Brian Thomas? What the? They just forgot about Brian Thomas.
Apparently, that great back and forth. I mean, this game was 9-6 in the fourth quarter. Let's keep that in mind. And then just an offensive explosion. 44 points scored between each team through overtime in the fourth quarter. Offensive explosion there. And like we said at the rundown, it got to overtime. Seattle, and not Seattle, Pete Carroll used to be the Seattle coach. Vegas scores, ties it up, or has a chance to tie it up. But there's only 20-something seconds left. There wasn't a lot of time. You're 2-5. Nobody wants to see a tie, too. And it's like a tie is almost the same thing as a loss, pretty much, when you're 2-5.
Yeah.
You might as well try to go for the win. And I get throwing it because you haven't been good at running the ball all year. This is a little different. You didn't have Marshawn Lynch and a great behind an awesome Seattle offensive line. You've had a rookie running back that struggled behind a subpar offensive line. Try to get the ball to your tight end that's been dominating. But Gino just threw it way too low. It was an easy bat down for the defensive lineman. And Jacksonville picks up a much needed win to try to keep pace in this tight wild card race. They're 5-3. We've reached noon. That's going to be the end of our show today, folks. Thanks so much for watching another edition of the Football Frenzy. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're going to have our World Series recap and a breakdown of all the craziness going on in the NBA season. Plus, we'll have college basketball kicking off, team builder, and pick 'em coming up as well. Caveman and HG, we're signing off on Till the Final Whistle here on Military Broadcast Radio.
Justice Jackson, they captured Herman Goring alive.
Tell me about him.
He's the face of the Nazis. I'm going to put Goring on trial.
Never escapes a hangman's noose.
Very sure of yourself.
No man has ever beaten me.
Goring has to fall.
You don't just have to win, you have to be flawless.
You're walking into a trap.
Knowing what we know now, would you still follow Adolf Hitler?
Nuremberg, rated PG-13, starts Friday only in theaters.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.